Okay. Okay. I think we're actually doing pretty well now. Okay. Mic check, audio check. For real this time, for realsies. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad things are so much better now. Again, I'm just gonna since this is gonna stay up on the channel, I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with thank you so much anybody who jumped in earlier, about 6 hours ago, or 5 hours ago, whenever, and we, had the most horrible, just traffic accident of errors and technical bugs that resulted in me just having to just reset and reinstall and redo a whole bunch of stuff. Go figure. This long without streaming, I guess, is detrimental to your stream's health. So, thank you again for everybody who jumped in and helped. Appreciate you. Thank you, Franz, for providing remote technical support. If I'm cranky, it's because I was pissed off. There's not a lot of things that really make me genuinely mad at technology, because I'm more mad at myself, because I hate wasting other people's time. I hate having my own time wasted. That's a very quick ticket to absolutely getting me pissed off. And when I do it to other people, I'm mad at myself. So when I put everything up, and I know things happen, I know it happens to anybody and everyone and the best of us. But at the same time, it's just so embarrassing. And so I have to beat myself up because of it, because I want to do better by you guys, I want to do better by myself, and when things just are out of control and I feel like I have a hand in it, even though I may or may not have a hand in it, I hate it. But hey, it's water under the bridge now. It's water under the bridge. This is the quick and dirty stream version that we're going to get going. This is a fresh install of OBS, so there's no cool widgets, there's no cool pop-ups, there's no stream chat on there. I literally just installed it, hit the quick start, and then we're live, and everything's working, so we're gonna do this. And the way that I'd like for this to go down is I'm gonna go through all the questions. I would say that I didn't preview these questions, but I have looked at this screen for the last 24 hours trying to troubleshoot things. So I clearly I can see the first few questions, but everything else is blind. So it's going to be live, on the spot, instead of just having a edited, pre-canned response video. We're going to have some audience interaction, so that way I can have live canned responses, and we'll see what we do. We'll see what we do. Hello everyone, hello everyone, hello everyone. I apologize that I may not necessarily read chat as often as I'm reading these questions, so if you ask a question and I don't see it, just go ahead and post it again later, or maybe we'll open up towards the end, towards extra questions. We'll see how we're doing it. Let's get started. Thank you very much, everyone. It is completely with you and me together. We've hit 100K subscribers. I couldn't have done it without you. And you obviously would not have subscribed to anything unless I made a channel with stuff worth subscribing to. So thank you very much. It was a team effort. So handshakes and back pats all around. I really appreciate you guys. I cannot say thank you enough. It is poor and inadequate for the last 10 years, which is long enough for me to start up a bogus charity and rip people off, honestly. For me to rise from zero like everyone else all the way up to this milestone. But this is not the end. We're not closing down the channels. I'm not selling out just yet. I haven't finalized my crypto coin that I'm going to go ahead and put out there and rip off millions of peoples and say, adios bitches, I'm out. And I haven't shilled yet for a company to get a voice acting gig to voice for the new Yakuza game and do a terrible voiceover job and ruin an iconic role. I haven't had a chance to do any of that. I've been in the YouTube space a while. I haven't done any of those accomplishments. So, clearly I have a lot to work towards. So, first question is Coden Eshell? What started this channel? I'm what started this channel. But if you want to say what motivated me to start the channel, then I'm gonna go ahead and say pure spite. My very earliest videos were all like game tip videos because they were stuff that nobody else was really making at the time. Like I started in 2012, just making some bit pieces or guide videos, because at the time the guide video options back then just weren't that good. They were to the point where it's like, man, nobody's giving me a hint on how to fight this boss better. Let me show what I'm doing, share it with the community, and see what goes on. My earliest success was making the Batman Arkham City and Arkham Asylum trophy guides, because the one that were out there, especially the official one from like IGN, were terrible. So I'm like, oh my god, I can do better with my garbage potato mic college laptop and trial version of Adobe Elements 9. I can do a better job, and I did do a better job. It sounds terrible. But sometimes the further we go, the more things stay the same, I guess. As for what started the recapitation option, that's very simple. It's an old story I like to tell, and it started with a friend of mine who asked a very simple question. He asked, what happened in Kingdom Hearts? And so I said, hey, let's look up. Surely somebody on the internet has a really good, to the point, succinct video that tells us everything we need to know, like in a major way, the major bullet points, and we can walk away feeling we understand the plot before going into Kingdom Hearts 2 or anything like that. And lo and behold, no slight against other channels. They're just doing a different thing. They're doing the infotainment, edutainment thing. But all they would do is just like, here's Kingdom Hearts in a nutshell, or here's a good enough plot summary, or here's a bunch of jokes and poking memes and stuff like that. And these days it's even worse with like the zoomer editing, with all the quick cuts and the meme spam. And I'm like, this is not helpful. This does not help somebody who just wants something that's better than a Wikipedia article, but not as much as watching a full like let's play. Is there anybody that could just do this? And so I said, no worries, guy, I got you. So that started the very first Kingdom Hearts. It wasn't called Recapitation at the time. That was later. It was just called What Happened in Kingdom Hearts. And I sent it to him, and then some people on Reddit saw it, and they really liked it, and they asked for more, and so I did more, and the rest is history. Kalama, love to see you, by the way. Why do you think people like face reveals so much? What is your take on the psychology behind face reveals? And you also asked, are you content, safe, and hydrated? I can also see that as, are you content? I'm always content. Am I content? Never. I'm never satisfied. I have too much ambition in my life. I'm not going to be complacent with where I am. So to me, while I'm grateful for what I have, I'm still always going to strive to be a little bit better every single day. Am I safe? Relatively. I mean, it's storming outside and I'm not soaked. Am I hydrated? Absolutely. Got this. I'm going to ting it right here. I'm always having water right next to me. Always hydrated. Always talking so much to be hydrated. I also have tea with me right now. I'm going to take a sip right now. Fan wikis, by the way, very unreliable. And a lot of the times I've done research just to try to get names or stats for the video, I've seen so many especially fan wikis, just get stuff blatantly wrong. Like whoever wrote it was clearly writing from their own memory and not actually sourcing the game. Where it's like, that's not what happened, and that's not who said that, or that's not the person who died. I've seen a lot of errors with wikis, but whatever, it's, you get what you came for. As for the first one, I think that's a very complicated question for such a simple question. I think people seek other people's faces. First of all, we're human, we're social creatures, we're driven to see faces in all sorts of things. And so when you're looking at somebody's face, you can determine so much more just through unspoken communication measures. Looking them in the eye, seeing their face, like the emotions that can be construed on it. Like there's so many reasons that add so much more emotional depth. And that's the real reason I think people like face reveals so much. Technically, I've already revealed my face, but that was like old me. I don't know if people want to see current me, like 74-year-old me. You tell me. You guys showed up. So I appreciate you. Like I said, I have a webcam right here for work. So I can prove that I'm not an AI. Unless this is in fact an AI generated filter, which actually could also be a thing. So no, I take that back. It couldn't prove AI. But no, people want to have an emotional connection sometimes to other people, and especially if there's some common ground like video games, for example, where there's often a very emotional connection to that. People are seeking emotional feedback. Having a human face tied with that is very relatable. But that's if that person wants to be relatable. A lot of the reasons why I simply don't put my face all over it is because even though I put Oni Black Mage, my little logo there, I don't put my face up on there because I don't feel it's relevant or it's enhancing the actual content that I'm delivering. Hold on, let me see if I can turn this on. Boop! Oh, there we are. Look at that. I look pretty similar to how I look in the video, however, 10 years ago. Obviously, I'm older. I still have the bags and circles under my eyes. Obviously, a hairline getting thinner, but it happens to all of us. It'll happen to you too, so don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it, and I don't know. Maybe I can just chill back, actually, just relax and just watch this. I think I look pretty good for 74, all things considered. So clearly, this is an AI-generated face. Me scowling and looking at things is my typical disposition when looking at everyone else. So I don't know. You tell me. Do you feel more emotionally attracted to this content? Is this enhancing the content? Do you feel more investment now? I gesticulate a lot. You swear I was Italian. You still have a full head of hair? Hey. It's all good. I have a friend whose hair fell out in high school. But it's okay because he joined the swim team and was going to shave it off anyway, so I'm not worried. Besides, I can always grow... I always tell myself if it really gets too far gone, I'm just going to grow a big old beard. Not like Gerard the Deceitsionist. Not that level. I hate the unkempt beards. That's so gross. Just a nice beard on the side. Like, I shave regularly, but a nice beard on the side. Nice and trim. Sanitary. I don't like those mountain men beards or neck beards. Gross. No thanks. So, I'll leave this up if you guys want to. Like, this might be a little treat for apologizing for how bad this ran earlier. Also, you can see... I don't know, I guess when I'm drinking stuff, you can see what I'm saying. This is my mug that I always drink tea out of like 3 times a day. Delicious. Cinnamon tea, by the way. So, because I am not a baby face and I can grow a nice healthy beard, I'm not worried about it. With much beard comes much responsibility. So, however, now that I'm on camera, I mean, I have to sit up straight now. I have good posture. I can't just sit back and relax and just slouch. So, this is me. I constantly wear a shit-eating grin when I'm talking to most of you online. So, it's okay. The people that know me in real life obviously know this is real. But yeah, people like face reveals for that exact same purpose. I guess I have to look more at the camera now. I can't just look at the screen per se. I'm on 2 screens. But I'm in a swivel chair. But yeah. Remember, men don't grow old. They only grow sophisticated. I would like to have a nice... Like, I have salt and pepper on the sides. And down on my goatee as well. But I would like, you know, full silver hair. I think that would be great. I actually look forward to that. I've been practicing being a cranky old man for most of my life. So I like to think I'm qualified for that. Very uniquely qualified. But yeah, Kalama, I don't know. This face reveal is sponsored by Kalama, so thank you very much. We're going to do a psychological experiment here. Small sample size. People that are live, you get to see what it's like. Everyone else, you have to do the chat replay. Alright. Next set of questions. Wait. Are all 3... Okay, there's 3 different people, and I just see that Fire Emblem's in all 3 of them. Alright, so Zoophobia, Bradley Harris, I recognize your name, hello. Suleiman 2000. Would you do any recaps on Final Fantasy XI, the Dissidia Final Fantasy games, and also any Fire Emblem games? Final Fantasy XI, big maybe. I'm still in the middle of doing 14, as you know. The Dissidia, we kind of technically broke ground with Stranger of Paradise, which directly connects to Dissidia, and Dissidia is on the bracket very soon. I have plans on doing that in, I was gonna say next year, but next year's in 2 weeks. But yeah, basically next year, early next year. 11 is a mess, and if I'm gonna tackle 11, I'm gonna do it as properly as I can, but I need to have a functional understanding of 11 as well, which I don't. I played 11 when it first launched, and I played a little bit of it, and then I quickly lost interest, and I was in college anyway, I didn't have time for it. It is what it is. Even though it's still active right now, and it's still paid sub too, come on. Well, first, let me finish up 14. Let's just take it one live service game at a time. But I do want to do it proper, because I don't believe there's a proper 11 recap. There's a lot of 11 cinematic channels, but a lot of those are lore, and plus you don't know if that's actually organizing the main plot of 11 to where you can understand it. I don't know. But we have to have our parasocial relationships. Man, please don't. Like, if I'm looking at you and I'm hiding behind like sob stories, please do not empathize with any person that does that online, tries to take advantage of it, of like your emotions and guilt trip you and use emotional empathy and all that stuff. Please don't do that. Those people are scum. As for the Fire Emblem games, I'm going to save that for the other 2 Fire Emblem questions and maybe make it a big one. Bradley asked, do you have any interest in doing recaps on strategy RPGs like the Fire Emblem games? And Suleiman is, what's your favorite RPG on the DS? Also, favorite wrestling game? I'm going to go ahead and say I don't have one. I've only played 2 wrestling games. One was on the N64 with a friend, and I don't remember what the heck its name was. It was a lot of fun, though, but then again, you're playing with friends. As for the RPG on the DS, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say Chrono Trigger, because Chrono Trigger, first of all, one of my favorite RPGs ever, and second, the DS version of Chrono Trigger is the best version. It's the version that has everything. It's the most complete version, including the most correct ending. The true ending that really connects to the rest of the Chrono games. So Chrono Trigger on DS, best. But if we're going to say a non-port game, an original DS game, I would have to say the Ace Attorney games. The Ace Attorney games surprised me. I only heard about it secondhand, and when I just had somebody just go on and on, a classmate, who was like, oh, you have to try this, it's great, you would love it, you like these type of games. I'm like, I do? Oh, okay. And I went and I found in like a bargain bin for like $5 the first Ace Attorney, played it, loved it. That person called it. I love Ace Attorney. I love all the Ace Attorneys. Ace Attorney is fantastic. I wish I could do a recap of Ace Attorney, but I don't think I would do it justice, even though I did Danganronpa, which is very similar. It's just, so good. I guess I still could, though. I really want people to enjoy it on their own, though, but it's been years, so it's fine. And as for their Fire Emblem recapitation questions, yes. Thank you, Monkey Gamer Z Official. Love seeing your name every time in the credits, by the way. 100k subs and you will keep growing next goal 200k. Absolutely. And the answer is yes. Fire Emblem is one that I'm very much interested in. What I kind of want to do is I kind of want to cover the Fire Emblem series like I'm covering a war documentary. Like kind of making a war mockumentary, but with Fire Emblem. Like covering it like you would on a History Channel special. With the maybe like the scratch filters and maybe a little grayscale or sepia tone. And I'll be like, on the year 1069, Prince Marth, Sortied, blah blah blah. You know, something like that. I don't know, we'll see. But yes, I'm very interested in Fire Emblem. I've played all of the American release Fire Emblems. They're among my favorite tactical strategy games. They just do a very good job at what they do. I have conflicting opinions on the more modern ones, but that's not what the question's about. But yes, the answer to all the Fire Emblem recap questions is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Shadow Walt 9595. What is the meaning of life? Ziggy went ahead and hit that reference right on the head. But I'm going to add a little bit more to that. Very quick. The meaning of life is what you make of it. There is as much meaning as there isn't. And what you seek is what you're going to get. If you seek to go ahead and be miserable, selfish, self-serving, or perhaps help others, seek happiness, be grateful for what you have, or do bad by others, or do well by others, or do good for yourself, or bad for yourself, or discover meaning for yourself, or be dissatisfied with everything you come across, you're going to get exactly that. So your meaning and lack of meaning is completely on you. Like, that's a skill issue question. If you seek meaning, you will find meaning, as long as that meaning is not something that you feel is going to be given to you. That's something you have to make for yourself. Just, that's my opinion on it. That's my take. There's no right or wrong answer to this. It's simply actions and consequences. Hey, Alessandro. Didn't know I could do this too. Absolutely. You gotta flex that status, my guy. Let's see. Aaron, I don't have a question, but I don't want to know that you deserve it. Hey, thank you. I've always watched your videos. I'm about to play a sequel game, but can't remember what happened to the previous title. You're awesome. You deserve a milestone and win. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. The way that I've come to understand recap and how people really come to enjoy it is I'm saving you time. I am saving you time by sacrificing my own life and my work-life balance and social life to make these very long, drawn-out videos that hopefully save you time and money. So, if I've helped you, thank you. Look at YouTube giving you canned AI responses, by the way. Wow, thank you. You're the best. Maybe one day you'll have a question. That's so weird. Let's see. How do you determine which games or game series to recap next? I have so much. I have plenty of content to work with. All right. If you go to my Discord and go to the queue is what it's called, you will see pretty much every single series or standalone game that I could feasibly do a recap on, or I'm just mildly interested in. I might take it off, but I have enough content ideas for the next 10 years. I really do. So if people still give me suggestions, it's fine, but odds are I've already gotten that suggestion. Still do it, because you never know, I might have missed something. There might be a hidden gem somewhere. But yeah, no. I have plenty of ideas. As for which ones I do next, I'm still currently working. I'm getting really close on several series, working down several of the open series like the Tales of games or the Trails games. Castlevania, there's only a few more left. Final Fantasy is always going to be there. There's over 70 Final Fantasy games. I've only done half of them. So there's plenty. There's plenty. And also, you may have noticed that I mostly do RPGs, and RPGs are kind of long. Especially the visual novel ones that lean more towards visual novel than gameplay. Asher asks, I was gonna say, it's like, are you holding a yokai? But no, I just see the stuffed animals. So in your recap, So in your recaps, you wording a character, finding something to be off as them being awfully suspicious about it, is it weird that I find it to make a lot of sense? No, it just means you understand context, and I appreciate that. Awfully suspicious is something that I say in real life a lot. I'm a skeptical person, to put it lightly. And so there are many times where I see a red flag, I'm like, that's awfully suspicious. They're like, I don't know, this isn't adding up, it's awfully suspicious. And so that's my foreshadowing to where I see there's an issue, there's a problem, and I'm letting the audience know. I'm sharing it in my particular way. Redacted. Hitting that nostalgia dose. Exactly, that's, I didn't realize I'd be a nostalgia dealer online. I'm the internet nostalgia dealer. Getting that dopamine. Do you think the Final Fantasy VII Remake was made just so that one character could be revived and see a what-if scenario unfold? Are you talking about Bugenhagen? I'm just joking. So, I don't think so. I have my own theories on Final Fantasy VII. I'm not big into fan theories, but I am big into speculation. Like, it's fun, as long as it's just for fun. I want, and I'm hoping that the trailers are showing this right now for Rebirth. I'm hoping that this is another bait and switch. There are still, no matter what you think about Final Fantasy VII Remake of the game, you have to admit, even right now, it is the biggest, most successful bait and switch that I've seen that isn't bad. There's a lot of bait and switch games right now that it's like, oh, we think we're going to do this. Haha, we subverted expectations about this actual crappier thing that you wish was the thing we actually showed you about. No, this one is, haha, you think we're gonna be regular Final Fantasy VII, but it turns out we're a sequel. Spoilers if you haven't played it, but 7 Remake is not a remake in the concrete, literal sense. It's a remake conceptually. It's a theme that's being used. And what they do is, it's actually a sequel game. So you don't have to freak out. You see all these people freaking out like, I'll never accept Final Fantasy VII Remake. The original will only be... It's okay. The original is not harmed. It's not going anywhere. First off, you can still play it on like every platform, even the Switch now. You can play it everywhere. And it's a sequel. This game assumes you already played the original, and it's building off of that, expanding the 7 universe even more. So relax. Enjoy for what it is. If you want to view it as a spin-off, great. Who cares? There's not really a spin-off in this sub-series anyway. The universe is Final Fantasy VII, they're all relevant. A lot of them are conflicting, but they're still relevant. But man, you got people just coping so hard, just freely hating 7 Remake. And by the way, I adore 7 Remake. I tolerate 7, hot take. I tolerate 7. Final Fantasy VII Original doesn't even break my top 10 Final Fantasies list. But 7 Remake? Ooh, baby, that's the stuff right there. So good. And the fact that it successfully trolled the entire internet. Nobody knew that was coming. Nobody. And that is so brilliant. So brilliant. You have to admit, it's so well done. And getting back to the original question, I want them to continue surprising us. The way they ended 7 Remake, they kind of said, hey, we're doing whatever we want. Like, the timeline's doing its own thing. We're going to have crazy stuff. There's confusing imagery already. All the internet sort of theory makers are already going crazy with it. So, who knows? I just anticipate being pleasantly surprised. Like, it really doesn't matter what direction they go in. As long as it's something different, I'm okay with it. The predictability of what could have happened that people think they wanted, no, that would have been way too boring. Even the developers said it. Why would you want something where you know everything's going to happen? That's boring. And I agree, it's boring. So, Bradley, hey, there you go. 7 is a bait and switch done right. Exactly. It is the best bait and switch game I've ever seen. Very good. Young Goku over. Really appreciate your videos as they allow me to save time, not replaying a game I just want to experience the story for. Do you think you'll do any more of the Tales games like Vesperia or Abyss? Absolutely. Vesperia, by the way, is my favorite Tales games. Abyss, very good. Did I not do Abyss? No, I didn't do Abyss. Those are going to be very soon, but the first one will have to be Tales of Destiny. I kind of want to go in order now. So Tales of Destiny from the PS1 will be the next Tales game that you'll see. It was supposed to come out this year, but hey, you know what? Long break does that to you. How often do you make time to play the titles you choose to cover for recapitations? Too much time. Too much of my life has been devoted to this hobby. But hey, it could be worse, like, I don't go out getting smashed or drunk or anything like that, so... Or taking a million drugs, like, I'm cool, like, I just sit inside, mind my own business, and make video game recaps. I stay in my lane. Somebody's gotta do it. Not a lot of people do it. And here's the reality. I do play 95% of all the games that I've recapped. There have been a couple of games that I simply haven't, and that's simply just due to accessibility. There are many times that I play the game and there's an alternate ending or a side boss that's just way too much effort to do, so I just grab the footage from somewhere else. I always credit the video. And every single day I pour at least 4 hours, whether it's script writing, whether it's reviewing, whether it's recording footage. I'm always putting that much time every single day into this channel somewhere. The longest stuff is editing. It really takes so long. And as you've seen how many cuts I have and for how long it is, on average, every 10 minutes of a video you see probably took me 4 hours of labor, basically. So just think of it like that. That's just the pure editing part, not even counting the original playthrough and script writing and revisions. So, I don't speak too fast, you think too slow, by the way. And how do you make the time? By sacrificing so much of my other options in life. Oh my god, my social life is so destroyed. It really is. I'm fortunate that I work from home, because just the commute time from working full time, that would be more hours out of the day. So it's horrible. So my personal health and constant sleep deprivation is the source of my power. And again, raw salt and spite is what fuels me. Any plans for more Destiny content down the road? I know the community isn't in a great spot at the moment, but I feel you have the chops to make some really top tier guides after that one you put out early this year. Thank you, Christopher Carlson. I really appreciate that. I love Destiny 2. It's no secret. If you're in my Discord, you already know that I'm constantly active in my Destiny 2 portion. I play that game. That is my main live service game besides Final Fantasy XIV. That's where I spend a lot of the other time that I'm not working on the channel for, or doing other things in my life I could be doing better, is playing that game. And I, gonna go and flex a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and say I have a lot of accolades in the game. I'm a high-end PvP player. I'm in the top 1% for a lot of the seals that I've unlocked. Top 2% for rating. I have a lot of insight on a lot of the PvE stuff, and anytime you approach me and just want to talk shop about D2, I'm always there. But the content creation portion is not going to be it. I would have to start up a second channel that's devoted straight to that. I'm glad you liked that one video, but other than just casually playing and talking with the people around me, I don't have any plans of making Destiny content. Especially since you're right. It sucks because the game itself is in a great spot right now. However, the community and the public-facing view of it is on fire. Like, from somebody who doesn't play Destiny 2, like, seeing the outside perspective, I don't blame them for having a very negative opinion of it, because they're like, man, the management's angry at the devs are angry at the management, the community's angry at the management, or they don't know who to be angry at because the devs are at fault. You have this person and then that person, then maybe they're going to get absorbed by Sony, and how much involvement is Sony's fault, and there's this much, and then there's this microtransactions, even though it's all cosmetic, they don't pay for power. Whoever says that Destiny's a pay-to-win game, they're full of shit. That's not true. That's a skill issue. It's a mess. The PR face of Destiny is atrocious. That's why it's hilarious they were nominated for Best Community Support this year at the Jeff Keighley Awards, because that is... It's hard to talk to an outsider about Destiny 2 because they're the filter, the wall, the media construct that they have, the reputation they put there is so bad. It's so bad. Still play the game though. Also, it's free on Epic right now. It's a good game. Promise. Jordan Prather, I hope I said that. Prather, 4730. Congrats on the 100k. You deserve it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I've been watching your recapitations for a long time now, and I really appreciate the time and efforts you put into explaining the stories. Thank you. I do put effort. It's so nice to be recognized. It has helped me to understand the stories so much better in a lot of games I played over the years, so again, thank you. You're very welcome. Question, have you played any of the Xenoblade games? Would you consider doing any of the recapitations on the Xenoblade series? Yes. I have played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 a long time ago, like on the Wii, back when it was part of Operation Rainfall. I didn't play the remaster, where they fixed the faces and a lot of things. I also haven't played Future Perfect. I have bought, but I have not played Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've started but not finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U back when the servers were still up, and it was really awesome. It was a great way to farm materials. Would I do recaps on any of them? Absolutely, but my god, they are long games, and you know that. So they're on the, I will get around to it. Let me finish what's on my plate first. But yes, I will do that, absolutely. It's a good opportunity to just replay it anyway, just collect footage. Badass more Gambit content? Yeah, right, man. You want to talk, shut up. Is that EU London? That makes sense. I was gonna say it's London. That's an interesting one. Or Yule on Dawn. Or Yule on Dawn. I love mispronouncing things. Is the future of gaming storytelling doomed? Is the future of gaming storytelling doomed? That's a good question. I'm gonna have to say no. Well, no from a certain point of view is how I'm gonna say. Let me explain. So, you may have noticed especially as you get older. When you're as old as me and you've been around for at least 120 years, stay hydrated, by the way. It does wonders for your skin. Get plenty of sleep, which is something I should take my own advice on. Gaming is mainstream right now. It's so mainstream that it makes more money than movies, TV, and books combined, and I think and music tied onto that. It makes more movie than any other multimedia industry. Because it is now mainstream, there are several things happening that it's a little early to say doomed, because it is true gaming is now more successful than it's ever been, and it is constantly growing. However, you and I both know that there are many facets of gaming right now, including game design, including gaming storytelling, including what's popular, that quite frankly is different from how you and I grew up and enjoy the medium. And that's purely because it's mainstream. I actually did this rant just earlier, actually just yesterday, on terms of like the casualization. And I'm going to go and be straight. Yes, there are casuals in gaming, and that's not a gatekeeping term, although there is a need for gatekeeping in certain areas of the game. And gatekeeping doesn't mean, oh, we're locking you out. Even like the gatekeeping, good gatekeeping is we are keeping unqualified or irrelevant things out. Not people that are qualified or are relevant, we're keeping them out. That's the bad gatekeeping. That's the gatekeeping, and people's like, oh, well, you're just gatekeeping, I don't know, this other person who likes different games than you. No. What gatekeeping is, people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, having impressions on something they have no intention of spending any time, money, or investment of skill in. That's what we're talking about. And when you are a casual and you just have a minimal level of investment, whether it be time, money, or skill, that's okay. It's okay to be a casual. This is just a hobby. It's a rather expensive hobby. But now it's a very popular hobby. When we were growing up, it was very niche. Everything was all about TVs and movies and music and stuff like that. However, what gaming has now evolved into, it has now figured out ways to get those people who are in the TV and movie space to come into the gaming space. And what do those people want? They want plots that are like soap operas. They want heavy movie games, the kind of games that we used to make fun of for being walking sims, or being movie games, or games with very little gameplay, or very shallow mechanics, or just there to waste your time, or you watch it more than you play it. We used to make fun of that stuff because it wasn't a good like gameplay mix. That has become more popular because they are now bringing in a larger audience that's what they expect. The casual group of people, thank you very much, Badass, for the Gambit and the 2, I appreciate you. Also, no. And gatekeeping itself is okay in that aspect for quality assurance purposes. For making sure that the core games that you enjoyed stay that level of quality. They're not being watered down. They're not being casualified. They're not being printed for mass appeal, which compromises a lot of the original storytelling or the ideals or the gameplay that they had, because they need to include a lot more people that aren't even going to be that heavily vested like the core fan base is to begin with. That's what that is. And you can't fight it. That's just how it's going to be. That's why you see so many IPs being borrowed and destroyed for casualization. It sucks, but there's nothing you can do about that. There really isn't. The only thing you can do is wipe your hands and walk away, or seek that same love that you found in that game somewhere else. Either in middleware games or indie games or just alternative things you may not have tried. The biggest thing too that the casual audience brings, especially when they come in from the TV and movie crowd, is they are graphics whores. They are graphics whores, they are graphics whores, they are graphics whores. They will absolutely judge a game based on its look and feel. They absolutely will refuse to play a game because of its art style or visual feel. They will absolutely forego gameplay for visuals. And unfortunately, they outnumber the rest of the core fan base. They outnumber us like 10 to 1. They really do. The only people that don't really care so much are the people in the mobile space. But even then, like, they have a lot of good gameplay options. But the people that come into like the PC and the console space, they are absolutely graphics whores. And that focus on graphics kills a lot of other production. It really does. And it's because that's what they want. They want the cutting edge graphics. They want that movie pizzazz. They want that big budget blockbuster feel. They love the blockbuster games. They love that stuff. That's why they wins all the awards. But you'll notice that those games don't make as much money as they could because they blew it all on the marketing and art budget. And because they blew it all, that's why their profits are so poor. That's why a lot of the single player narrative games, and this is not console warring, but it's part of the problem of why Sony is struggling right now with its first party games. 2 years ago on their financials, they said this is unsustainable. That's why they moved into the live service projects that became its own snowball of problems. It's because it's unsustainable. You can't keep spending so much of your $200 million budgets on graphics and have minimal gameplay and have no additional way of monetizing or adding extra legs to that, except maybe a low effort DLC. It's not sustainable. They have so little profit on that. That's why they hedge so much on third-party option. That's why so much of the gameplay goes off those narrative-heavy games, is because those are cool for you, and you kind of one and done them for those exact purposes. You're watching like a TV or a movie. And now let's go to the score question, which is gaming storytelling. Is it doomed? No, it's shifting. It's shifting because you are changing as you evolve and play more things and grow older. Your emotional attachment and what you seek from gaming is changing as you get older. If you have the same tastes in games and movies and shows as you do when you were 8 years old, first off, you're kind of weird. And I don't like that, and I can't really have a conversation with you because you have an immature mindset. I can't stand the people. It's like, my taste in gaming was super good when I was 12 years old. No, it wasn't. It sucked. It sucked. And if you think it's still good, that's your nostalgia talking, and your tastes suck. If you really think the things that you liked when you were 12, when you were naive and everything was new, was really good, I don't know if you've revisited it recently without those giant, like, 4-inch wide nostalgia goggles that are rose tinted. You gotta take that shit off. Some stuff simply didn't age very well. You have to understand that. But your taste changed. What you look for and seek in your entertainment, that's changed. What's popular and what's selling for gaming, that's changed. How you can now deliver stories, which stories come big and small. And the appraisal of what's considered a quality story, that changes. What's being pushed in terms of gaming and marketing, that's changing. So all these moving parts are culminating in the gaming industry right now that it's very difficult to point to one thing and say, that's the problem, fix that thing. That's the thing that's dooming all of gaming storytelling. It is what you seek of it. If you want to find good quality visual novels or RPGs or shooters that focus on the campaign more than multiplayer, or even if you want to be, it's like, hey, I want a good sandbox game, or I want a good, like, a mystery detective game, you are going to have to try a little harder to find where you can find that in a satisfactory way. You're going to have to look a little harder to get that meal. You really are. Because gaming's just too big and too wide, and there's too many noise, like, just outlets shouting at you about what's good, that you have to, at the end of the day, make the decision yourself. And if you're dissatisfied with the condition of it, like, I know there's always videos out saying, the state of modern video games is doomed, it's horrible. It really isn't. However, what you're seeking just means you need to find something somewhere else. That, however, is mutually exclusive from the fact that they are actively killing many of your IPs. They're absolutely ruining it, like Disney is to Marvel and Star Wars. They're absolutely doing that. Make no mistake. They're absolutely doing that. But they're doing it because that's how they're choosing to grow in that direction. You're going in this path, they're branching off in that path. That's not necessarily wrong. It's just actions and consequences and what decisions you can make and what you choose to live with. At the end of the day, it's the decisions you're choosing to live with. So, take that as you will. I got a little animated there. I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to drink some water, stay hydrated. I'm getting dry. Live, stay hydrated. Sorry, chat, if I've been ignoring you. How are you guys? There's also less risk taking. The more mainstream something becomes, the less risk it takes. Keep that in mind too. If you like a lot of weird experimental stuff, you are absolutely not going to find it in the mass media stuff. Now, is that to say if you like movie games, you have bad taste? No, because there are so many movies and TVs, like, it's kind of relative, don't you think? Like, doesn't really matter what's considered relevant. You're choosing to spend your time there. So if you got value out of it, it wasn't a waste for you. Kaspoff06 asks, what is your favorite all-time video game series as a kid, and what is it now? If it has changed. And what video game started it all for you? Okay, it's funny that I just said, I'm gonna self-expose myself here, that, man, if your tastes haven't changed since you were a kid, your tastes are questionable. My favorite video game series has been the same since I was a kid, and that is The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda is such a blessed series that I unironically can't stand the echo chamber that surrounds the fan base. I can't stand the Legend of Zelda echo chamber fan base. I can't stand any echo chamber fan base. The Legend of Zelda. Because that game series is so blessed. That series never missed. It's had some weak installments, but even a weak Zelda game is so much better than like your average action adventure game. It really is. It's so blessed that it's so good. All hits. Some hits are harder than others, sure, but all hits. And what video game started it all for you? My very first console video game, because I played on my dad's Commodore 64, but I don't know what I was doing. I was such a little kid. But the first game I vividly remember playing is probably OG Super Mario Brothers. But when my dad won an NES in a Super Mario raffle, the 5 games that he got was Super Mario Brothers 2, Zelda 2, RC Pro AM, ice hockey, and football. It was just called football. Not like anything else, just football. So I guess you could say Zelda 2 was the first game that I beat in the Zelda series, and I will absolutely go to bat over Zelda 2. The weird, it's the black sheep. Shut the hell up. No, it's not. If you're saying that, you clearly don't understand or recognize how much Zelda 2 influenced the later Zelda games that we now take for granted. Just like how Breath of the Wild was just an adaptation of Zelda 1. And if you don't recognize that, you're just missing out. It's okay, fact check. Let's see. Alessandro, the 5, thank you. What are the video game IPs, alive or dead, that you think have been the most wasted or mismanaged? That's a whole rant. I can make a whole video on that. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna save that question. I don't want to get on that rant just yet. I want to finish these questions, but I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna scroll back if I need to. I think it lets me do that. Yeah, it lets me do that. But yes, my favorite video game franchise is still The Legend of Zelda. Easy. Why is a carrot oranger than an orange? Is it? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. What are the... What's the color code for orange? Oh, here's an orange color thingy. Let's bring it over here real fast. So here's carrot and here's orange. Like, I don't know, orange seems pretty orange to me, but when I think of like orange, I think I kind of think more Halloween over here. Maybe pumpkin. Orange is lighter than I would expect orange to be. Maybe you're right. Maybe carrot is more orange than orange. I kind of agree with you. I think I have bad cones in my eyes because I cannot tell the difference between Sedona and Red Fox. I can't tell the difference. Amber and pumpkin look almost identical too. I can't tell the difference. My eyesight's going. That's fascinating though. But also, it depends on which carrot and which orange we're talking about, because there's a lot of oranges out there. There's a lot of different carrots out there. Some carrots are really dark purple, you know? It's crazy. Also, 100 servings. Hey, how's it going? Happy holidays to you and the family. Always appreciate you. I realize it's probably a troll question, but it's still fun. Redacted. Is that the same Redacted that's in chat right now? How's it going, by the way? Congrats on the 100K. Thank you very much. Do you plan on doing a recap of Red Dead 1 and or 2? Yes. I love Red Dead 1 and 2. The Red Dead 2 especially, one of my favorite Rockstar games. Probably my favorite Rockstar game. I really like the story of it. And I would have to say that I also really like some of the GTA storylines as well, especially like I would want to say like San Andreas 4, 5. I really like the stories of those. But Red Dead 1 and 2, I love Red Dead 1 and 2. I did not expect to love Red Dead 1 as much as I did back in the day. I don't like the snap aiming combat. I don't like mashing the run button to run. That's stupid. But inputs aside, fantastic games. Fantastic games. Love them. Near and dear to my heart. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Arthur Morgan fan, by the way. Sure. Just need one more train, Arthur. Just one more train. There's always one more train. Tearless asks, why is why and not why not? Well, actually, it's kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? You see, the difference between why and why not is the assumption of the statement. One's positively inclined, one's negatively inclined. And when you ask why versus why not, you're not asking the same question. When you're asking why, you're in a state of disagreement and you're looking for a reason to be convinced to agree. And why not means that you're already in a state of like agreement or like yes, and you're looking for a reason why not to do that thing. Why, like you're starting from yes and you're moving to no. And saying why is starting from no and moving to yes. Like it presupposes the context, like what position you're already at. That's why and versus why not. I don't know if it's supposed to be a trick question, but it is an actual real question. Well, obviously it's a real question, but you know what I mean. Total Eclipse, hot take question. Ooh, I love those. What is your opinion on the following games? Undertale. Undertale is overrated. Easy. Good music, that's about it. The writing is nothing special. Deltarune, I don't know because I didn't play. Off, I don't know because I didn't play. Amori, I don't know because I didn't play. But I have heard of it. Hollow Knight, excellent game, highly recommended. Silksong, where the hell are you? Rain World. I have a friend that played this and had positive things to say. I have not personally played it. Also, do you make recaps about different genres of games? I mean, absolutely. I just did a shooter recently. I've done an MMO. I've done RPGs, of course, action games, visual novels. I've done an actual pure visual novel that basically is just a glorified book report, which is why I don't like doing visual novel recaps, because I feel like I'm doing your book report for you. And it's not visually interesting to look at. It's not interesting to edit. And I'm just posting the pages of a book, man. It's just, come on. How do you decide the next game you're playing, and how long does it take to make one video? Oh, I kind of touched on this before. I already have a long-standing list, Rudolph. How long does it take to make one video? Of course, it depends on the game itself. Ballpark I can say is total production, on average, 6 to 8 hours per 10 minutes is about what I would say. So take that in terms of like most videos being 20, 30, sometimes close to an hour. Yes, it takes that many hours. It really does. It's a lot. Nova asking, how'd you get to be the greatest mage of our age? One day at a time. Hot Dog Buns, congrats on reaching 100K. Thank you very much. Where did you imagine your channel would be 10 years ago? Where do you see it going from here? And how do you feel the YouTube landscape has changed since you started making videos compared to how creating and consuming content has become today? It's a very insightful question, Hot Dog Buns. I never imagined I would reach 100K. First off, when I started this channel over 10 years ago, I didn't even think I was doing a recap. Because when I first started this, I only did Kingdom Hearts, and then when I decided to do more, I wanted to do Resident Evil because so many people sleep on the story of Resident Evil. And not just from a lore perspective, just people in general. When it's one big timeline, all the games matter. All the games matter. They're all part of the timeline, and many, even the numbered ones, affect the non-numbered ones and vice versa. The whole number things doesn't mean it's more important or those are the only ones you should play. They're really not. They're all important. And I wanted to get that across, which is why I love the Resident Evil series. It's another genre, the horror, survival horror genre that I cover. And I want to just put one for every single one, which I've done. Except for 4 Remake, but I'll get there. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. It just came out. And Final Fantasy. Because Final Fantasy was another spiteful pick. Final Fantasy, I love the Final Fantasy games. Absolutely. But I, once again, cannot stand Final Fantasy echo chambers. Especially online. And that ties into the modern versus older YouTube landscape. There are so many modern Final Fantasy channels that I see where they are just so stuck up their own ass. And they are so underinformed on the series. And that's not to be pretentious like, oh, I played more Final Fantasy games than you, which I probably factually have. But that's not important. The important part is that you're coming out here and, again, there's over 75 Final Fantasy games. You've played 5 of them, and you consider yourself an expert. Maybe on the ones you've played, but then you want to make these broad assumptions about the series or what the series is about or where it's going, or I'm going to tier rank these even though I didn't play literally 80% of these games. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's so annoying. I can't stand it. The amount of the underinformed people that know just a little bit and think they know so much. Dunning-Kruger except for video game stuff. It's so unbearable. And then they have these lukewarm takes where they only go with, well, that's the one thing that I don't like about the modern YouTube landscape since I started, is the average YouTube video is exactly like what I'm doing here, except imagine a very stupid wall of... the reason why it's blotted out is because I don't want my work seeing my unmade bed in my messy bedroom / office. I actually, when I stream for work, I actually have an overlay background that's like an office setting, so it looks like I'm in a nice home office, but I'm not. So there we go. Pro tip. And so most of them are just like, hello guys, I'm gonna read exactly what the top most ranked post on Reddit is. I'm a walking text-to-speech person. This is actually I'm reading this right now, so who am I to point? But I am now giving you a hot take. The popular thing is the thing I agree with. I call those people mid-tubers. Mid-tubers are such a plague. Mid-tubers are the people that are stealing other people's views. They're the ones that are hijacking other people's videos, plagiarizing it, basically, where they just play somebody's entire video, make minimal things or minimal reactions, and just repost it as their own content and get substantially more views, and the original content creator doesn't get anything. I hate that. I hate how many times we don't have original content being made because people are so focused on putting out more. They're pressured by YouTube, sort of. Because YouTube never says, oh, well, you should put out a video twice a day or even one day every week. They never say exactly what works. And because the algorithm is constantly changing and nobody really knows what to do or think about it, they feel pressured that, well, maybe if I do more, I'll grow faster. When content is king, but the quality of that content, the quality of that information matters more. People want to report first. They don't want to report facts because that takes effort. It takes effort, and they don't, that's one of the reasons why recapitation is kind of secured. You'd think, surely there would be people who are going to take this idea and run with it. And there are some people that try to do some recaps, but they don't last very long, or they don't have the quality that I bring. And I don't even bring the most amazing, editing or anything like that. I do very minimal because I want to focus on just the information. It takes a lot of work, and it's very slow, and it's very unrewarding, and you grow very slowly. That's why there's not a lot of competition in my space. I kind of wish there was. I would not mind if somebody did what I did the way that I did it. Again, not super long, not super short, just right there, the bullet points. That's what I'm talking about. So, and a lot of it's because of Instagram, TikTok, that sort of quick, I want to get this, keep swiping, keep going, that content, that constant addiction. That's how a lot of people, especially we say Zoomer editing, it's the ones where it's there's constantly cuts every other second, and there's always sound effects, and there's light effects, and there's special effects, and then there's memes that are taken, and there's pop culture clips taken. They have to constantly jangle keys in front of you because you're a dumb baby, because they are so desperate for your attention that they have to do everything they possibly can to make sure you are constantly watching. And that has unfortunately impacted the way a lot of content production is. My editing, is very simple. I show you exactly what I'm talking about. And it is just that. It doesn't cut to me talking about myself. It doesn't cut to me flexing whatever video game swag is on my, freaking gamer nerd wall and my whatever gaming chair, my gaming PC on my video game channel. It's just, it's not. Here's the thing though, they're kind of right. Because a lot of that quick content production, if you can farm engagement farming is the current trend. If you can just farm engagement, you will get a lot more view time. You will get a lot more interaction with people commenting against you or down flagging or mass hating your video, and that helps you grow. The current YouTube meta is engagement farming. It's also watch time, but you can do watch time and engagement farming if you make a long form quality video. But if you're not, then you still have to farm engagement somehow. So that's why you get a lot of those mid-tuber takes. And then the bigger they get, the less racy they get, I guess you could say. I know my striped gaming polo shirt. That's the collar's messed up because I don't even care. And my mug, my gaming mug, it still has a bag of tea and a spoon in it. Whew. But that's, again, just how the game's played. The YouTube game will always change. I am very proud that I have reached this milestone, which is a pretty, again, I'm gonna flex here, but there's 100, according to YouTube, there's 114 active YouTube channels and only 321,000, and I am now part of that. Channels with over 100K. That's 0.2%. I am the top 1%. I don't feel that. I really don't. I still think I'm a relatively unknown, unseen channel. I kind of feel that these days too. Where a lot of my older videos get way more views than my newer ones, and it hurts. Because I really feel like I've improved in terms of at least my writing and my cadence, at least. I really feel like I've improved. Again, I don't speak too fast, you think too slow. And, I'm getting hoarse. I feel the content, the constant mill, with more people making stuff for the content mill, it has certainly impacted the quality that we get and the consistency of the channels that we get. Vinnie Mac, hey, I recognize that name too. What is your prediction on how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will go? Unpredicted. I do believe they're doing another bait and switch with the marketing where they're just showing, hey, this is a familiar location at the very beginning of the game. Maybe this, like they kind of did the same thing though with the first remake, where here's the first 30 minutes of the game. Look how one-to-one it is. It's just like what you think you wanted this whole time. And then it goes completely off in a completely different, unpredictable direction. I want that surprise. I want that reaction. I want the people that think they want the boring, predictable, upscaled game to feel butthurt and salty. So that way I can smell that wonderful, wonderful salt fumes as I have a meltdown. I love it. It sustains me. Will the two timelines converge? I kind of hope that they do, and they become some bizarro timeline, and then they realize it was mistaken to destroy stuff. Will Cloud die and Zack become the main character until the third game? Nothing would be lost, though. If Cloud dies right here, nothing would be lost. I'm interested in your opinion on how the second and third game will play out. I have no idea what they're even going to do the third game. We don't even know what the title of the third game is going to be about. But if we take Remake, the subtitle itself, as a clue for how they actually themed the game, for remaking the timeline, that's what the theme is. Rebirth is going to go the same way. Rebirth is cluing us into something. We may not see it now, but it's cluing us into something that's highly thematic for the game. So we'll see. Zeldinked, by the way. Nice Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VIII, by the way. Fantastic game. Another casualty of Final Fantasy VII. We're all so many dumbasses out there who bought Final Fantasy VIII thinking it was a sequel to Final Fantasy VII. To be fair, they didn't know, because they didn't play the previous Final Fantasy games to know that they're all standalone. So, I forgive you 25 years ago. From the future, I forgive you. But 8 deserved better, and your mass hatred of it was stupid and misinformed. You were a dumb kid. My questions are favorite pizza, aquatic animal, and Pokemon. My favorite pizza is, it's a little on the boring side. It's a thin crust American style pizza, pepperoni. I also enjoy barbecue pizza. And I also enjoy onions on my pizza. Interestingly, I used to knock on onions on pizza forever. Then I tried it literally this past year. I'm like, what have I been missing? This is delicious. Holy crap, onions are so damn good on pizza. I can't believe it. It's so good. Aquatic animal. I guess the otter is the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I'm like, what aquatic animals do I like? Oh, actually, I guess if we're allowed to flex the scope of this question, my favorite aquatic animal is a shrimp because it's my favorite thing to eat. It comes from that aquatic environment. I love eating shrimp. It's my favorite food. So that's my favorite animal to eat. And Pokemon, it's Sandslash. My favorite Pokemon is Sandslash. Always has been, still continues to be. I love the name. I love the design. I really wish it was a much more popular Pokemon. There's only ever been 2 things made for Sandslash officially, besides Pokemon card stuff. And that's like the little beanie plushie that the Pokemon Center sold one time, and I bought 3 of them. Just, because I wanted one for myself, I wanted a backup, and I wanted one just like as a display one. Whatever. And like a little McDonald's toy, whatever, that was made forever ago. Like, Sandslash gets like no love otherwise, but it's my personal favorite. Top 10 favorite RPGs, asks Mana Davis 4126. I don't think that is constantly evolving. There's fantastic games released now that make me rethink what my favorite RPGs of all time are. There really are. That's less and less true these days with modern games, as we'll get back to Alessandra's question. But how about this? Chad, I'm going to look at you right now. Throw out some RPG franchises, and I'll tell you my favorite one in that franchise is. I will say, though, that my favorite Final Fantasy game is Chrono Trigger. Eat shit. It was originally Final Fantasy VII. You have a Sandslash from the Sitting QD lines? Absolutely, I have 3 of them. But recent favorite Final Fantasies, like top tier Final Fantasies, I would say would have to be 6, 9, 12. Basically the Ito ones, the ones that Ito directed, I love. I love his use of ensemble casts and multiple plot lines. He balances them so well. 15 as well. I would have to say like those are my top tier favorite Final Fantasies will be 6, 9, 12, and 15. Which actually go numerically that way. How about that? Maybe Final Fantasy 18 will be up on that list too. We'll see. Yakuza. I'm a big fan of Yakuza 0. Loved it. Trails. Trails in the Sky 3. 3rd chapter. I'm not going to talk about Cold Steel because I honestly haven't finished any of the Cold Steel games. I've started them, I haven't finished them. Because I started them and I realized, ooh, these all tie in together. Let me wait until I do this for recap, and I'll knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. My favorite Drakengard Nier is going to... Are you just taking things off my off my page? My favorite SMT game is SMT3. Nocturne is fantastic. It holds up today. It really does. My favorite Tales game is Vesperia. I don't like any of the Drakengard games. Though if I had to say I enjoyed which one's the most, it would be 2. Sorry, kid, I know I stabbed you in the heart then, but you knew I was going to say that. I like 2 more than most people. Because so many people are so butthurt. Oh, but Yoko Taro didn't involve in that one. So what? You act like he made everything super good. And Nier Automata, in my opinion, is the best thing that had because it had his writing and then nothing else. Because Yoko Taro is not a good director. He's a good writer, but he's not a good director. Have him write the stuff, and then have everyone else do all the heavy lifting. They'll make a better game. Favorite Pokemon generation? Generation 2, baby! Although my favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Yellow. I would have to... Actually, Pokemon Silver. But Pokemon Yellow is a very close second. I would have to say I love both of those. And I like Silver, the original, not Soul Silver. I don't like some of the changes they made. Actually, I don't like a lot of the changes they made, especially the music. My favorite Nippon Ichi game would probably have to be Disgaea, maybe the original, but I did like D2. Disgaea 2, that is, not Destiny 2. That's at least 10, right? I'm sure I did at least 10 just now. Why Vesperia? Cast, storyline progression, escalation, balance and mechanics, combat system. I felt it hit well on all of those points. Replayability, the secrets that you could find. I think it just fired off all cylinders. I think it did a fantastic job. What program do you use for editing? For audio, I use Audacity. It's free, and it gets the job done, honestly. And I use Adobe Premiere. I'm currently on Adobe Premiere 21. I am not using the subscription service. Screw that. Rudolph, the story only gets larger from here, so let's cut it down to size with a recapitation. Yep. Story only does get larger from here. I don't know if it gets more interesting from here, but it gets larger from here. Tell everyone here to play 13 Sentinels. Play 13 Sentinels. 13 Sentinels is the best video game story in the last 10 years of gaming. I will take on all challengers on that. I don't care how much you like that cinematic game that you just played this year. There is no game this year that has a story as good, anywhere near as in-depth, as well done, as well thought out, and as thought-provoking and conversation-inducing as 13 Sentinels. You need to shut your mouth and play 13 Sentinels right now before you come at me with whatever you were about to say. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's 13 Sentinels. Fantastic. Fantastic. That is the highest marking I can get for a game. Crave That Minerals, Krongots from the 100k, thank you very much. Your videos are great on the long work car rides. Absolutely. Hopefully I don't put you to sleep like I do other people, so stay awake at the wheel. Question, what made you start wanting to do these, and do you think you'll start covering more modern games in the future? Thanks. I kind of already have. Thanks to some sponsorship deals, I've done some more recent stuff like Eternights, which I know the commercial says Eternights, but the game multiple times says Eternights. So I say Eternights, alright? That's what the game says. Don't hate me. RoboCop Rogue City, which in my opinion is the best shooter to come out this year. It's the best RoboCop game to come out, period. And it is, if you really like those old school shooters where you have levels, alright? First off, you have stages. And then in each stage, there's sometimes multiple routes to get to the objective. There's multiple secret objectives you can find and fulfill. There's side areas you can do. Sometimes there's a mini game you can find. It was actual content. It wasn't just straight hallway, plus it opens up into a very clear shooting arena. Bang, bang, bang. Move to the next big-ass boss. No, you have some level variety as well. And it's so lore accurate. The sound design, the visuals are fantastic. The writing, I can't believe it's not canon. It bridges 2 and 3 so well, so perfectly. I can't find a flaw. And it's just genuinely a fun game. RoboCop, if I can give any Game of the Year award right now, RoboCop Rogue City wins my award for game I had the most genuine fun playing. Game that actually made me smile. Most times I'm playing a game and I'm just like, I'm absorbing this stoically. But RoboCop, I literally found myself smiling. I was like, I'm actually having fun playing a video game. Holy crap. What a concept. It's so damn good. How's your serving Stan did a good... I heard they did a great job with Terminator Resistance. I do need to give that a look. I'm not as big a Terminator fan. Actually, that's not true. I technically like Terminator more than RoboCop, but Terminator has also made more terrible movies than RoboCop has. And so there's more to hate in Terminator, technically. But I like the concept of both very well. Like, I love that RoboCop still continues that 80s hyper-violence, but also has that corporate satire and the cautionary tales, and then also questioning what it means to be like a cyborg, and what does that mean for being human versus machine versus something else. I love that they covered all of that in the game. They did such a fantastic job. I constantly quote it, but 2009's Ghostbusters, the video game, which was actually written with Dan Aykroyd and a few others, and they reprised their roles as well for the voices, and it basically was like Ghostbusters 3 we never got. A little bit too heavy on the pandering, but it was a fantastic game and a great Ghostbusters game. Heavily recommend it. Best Ghostbusters game. And I love Ghostbusters. I like 1 and 2. Fuck the haters. Ghostbusters 2 was fine. It was fine. Yes, 1 was better, but 2 was fine. I haven't actually watched the recent one. Not the shitty reboot, which I watched that in theaters. I gave it a fair shake. I watched it like, this is very bad. It's not the trash fire people are saying it is, but it is very bad. This is very bad. Ghostbusters, like what Generations it is or something? I haven't actually watched that. And they're making another one. I haven't seen the modern one. Daniel, congrats man, you deserve every single sub. I hope so, including the people that unsubbed. I'm sure I deserve those too. When I say something that pisses people off. Hey, I can't control other people's attitude. I'm just here, man. I was here when there were 0 subs, and I'll still be here even if you unsub me. So eat shit and die. Here are my questions. In your opinion, besides RPGs, what is the best video game genre for storytelling? Has it changed over the console generations? So storytelling is about the craft. There's stories and there's storytelling. The story is simply the story itself. Like the most classic miniature example of a story is The King Died. That's a complete story. The storytelling, though, is how is that story being presented? How is it being conveyed? What emotional reaction are you seeking to get from the audience, and are you succeeding? What message are you imparting? What's the manner with which you are telling a story? Because you can tell a story. You can tell that The King Died story so many ways. There are so many The King Died stories out there. When people say, this story isn't original, no story is original. I subscribe to the philosophy that there are only 6 main stories and everything's just derivative. But it doesn't matter what you take the story from. What matters is where you are taking it to. That authenticity is what you're looking for, not the originality you're thinking about. It doesn't matter if the story is original. What matters is what did you do to transform it, to make it interesting. That's storytelling. And I would have to say the best video game genre for storytelling so far, okay, pisses me off to say this, but the cinematic movie games are very good for storytelling. I hate to say it, but that is true. Because, and we're going to take 2 extremes here, because everything is curated. Everything is controlled. Every single scene, every single shot, all the mocap, all the emotions of people's faces, everything is perfect, depending on your budget, obviously. If you're Sony Production Studios and you have literally a movie theater and movie theater quality mocap and design and editing, and people are like, wow, that's such good animation. That's not animated. They literally scan a person's face in. It's artistically stylized, but it's not animated per se. But that's a very good device for storytelling for the TV movie crowd. They do a very good job. There's no denying it's a fantastic way of storytelling. The other way is visual novels. Visual novels because they're the closest thing we have to books. And you can't get almost any more concrete, any more plain than a book directly telling you and describing the scenes and how you can imagine things. Even right now with the face cam thing, that's another thing. For so long, this will be the first time people have seen this face, and so they're going to be like, you don't look how I expect. Obviously, I will never look how you expect. This is the problem we have with books when they're adapted to visual mediums. In your head, you have the perfect face, the perfect voice, the perfect image of whoever's playing that fictitious character, which means whoever they ever cast is automatically wrong. It's not going to be as good as whatever you imagined. If your imagination is going to be the best production of whatever that character is, whatever that story interpretation was, whatever that action scene was, or however cool or awesome or cute or sexy that person was, your imagination was the best peak point. Everything else is downhill. Which is why the more active and powerful your imagination is, the more powerful visual novels and books become. Now, obviously, you get those visual novels that have all the anime in them, whatever. They just substitute that for those of you who need a little bit of a push in terms of what the artistic intention was. But it's still very, very good. Still very, very good. Also, 13 Sentinels. Recommend that. A game that also heavily leans into more the visual novel side. Afterlife. Boo, it was Afterlife. Thank you for pointing that out. Prince Dairy Lover. Do you usually have to play and beat the game before you do recapitations, or do you do just research? When you say, do I do just research, are you talking about just Googling something? Like Googling a Wikipedia? I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm not insulting Prince Dairy Lover. I recognize your name. But I don't quite understand the latter half. So I'll go on the first half. Yes, I play and I beat the games. For two reasons. Number one, there's no way I'm writing a script on just my own memory. That's the entire problem with people, which prompted me to do recapitation, is that this isn't based on my own memory. It's not based on your memory either. You horribly overestimate how good your memory is. Like, I have crystal clear memory. I remember everything about this video game from 30 years ago perfectly. Sure. No, stop the cap. I don't believe you. Yes, I absolutely play and beat the games. I also like to play and beat the game so that way I can directly challenge anybody who contests my hot takes on the internet. I am absolutely primed and ready to go. Always. I have so many counter arguments locked and loaded. Because the popular base always says everything, they lay all the cards out. So it's never a surprise what they come at you with. Very easy to overturn. So when you come out and you're just like, hey, actually, this, that, and the other is really good. And you can come at it from different ways. You can troll them, be really pretentious, be like, well, you just didn't understand the narrative quality here, so your interpretations on how this game ended was due to your own literal illiteracy. It's like, yeah, you could be a snot-nosed asshole like that. But yeah, no. Hopefully I answered your question. I think I went off on a weird tangent there. What are your favorite game series? My favorite game genres are going to be RPGs, adventures. I like shooters, the ones that have campaigns, that is. But my favorite game series within those are mostly the ones that I did recapitations on. It's like, I love Final Fantasy. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's hard out there being a Kingdom Hearts fan, but I still do like Kingdom Hearts as much of a mess and as ugly as it is right now. It's very stupid, but I still like it. I still like it a lot. I will still play the whatever next Kingdom Hearts games, and I will still be optimistic that they will be better and they will improve. I love Resident Evil. Absolutely love Resident Evil. Hardcore Resident Evil fan. Legend of Zelda, of course, I already mentioned. Absolute favorite, even when it's a little shaky sometimes. I used to love Pokemon. I've kind of fallen out of love with it. I just can't keep up with it, man. It's not for me. It's a young man's game. It's a young man's game. Let's see. I love the Shin Megami Tensei / Persona series. They're kind of becoming a little bit more mainstream, but at the same time, I still feel they haven't forgotten, for the most part, what's really important, what's core to the success of that series. The spirit of that game is still intact. The game series. But were you gonna go back and edit all the Akane in your 999 videos? Hell no. That will always be my constant L. I accept it though, so it's okay. Like, you can't hang it over my head. Where, obviously, don't watch as much anime perhaps to showcase that, but in 999, I say Akane's name is Akane. It's just like, what the fuck is he saying? And I say it constantly because she's the main character. Obviously, I got that wrong. Obviously, I own it. Doesn't bother me. I don't care. I really don't care. Great series though. The 999 series is a fun game to play. The plotline is mostly stupid. And they do some shenanigans. They do absolute shenanigans. Hooded Dude, congrats, thank you very much. Is that Bader Abdul Rahman? Am I saying that right? I look at it and it's like, I want to try the name. Bader Abdul Rahman? Did I get that right? So we'll see. Asks, what is your favorite male Final Fantasy character and favorite female Final Fantasy character? Also, what would you say is your favorite all-time favorite JRPG game? What is a JRPG? That's a troll question, don't answer that. But my favorite Final Fantasy character, male-wise, easily Minwu from Final Fantasy II. The biggest badass. Part of the reason why I want them to do Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy II, so they can do Minwu and be like lore-accurate Minwu. Minwu is such a badass. He puts so many main Final Fantasy protagonists to shame. He's such a badass. This dude died on his feet just because he couldn't fulfill prophecy. And he fought his way out of hell to fight his way and kill his way into heaven and kill God. He's such a badass. My favorite female Final Fantasy character would probably have to be Lightning. And I'll tell you why. This may piss some of you off. Lightning is better written than the overwhelming majority of Final Fantasy characters in the main party. Because they simply don't get as much writing as she has, nor go through arcs, nor had as much character development opportunity time. She had 3 games. Well, 2.5, because the second one wasn't really about her. But she's gone through a lot of stuff to get from point A to point B, and grew. Like, the power scaling, it's like Dragon Ball. Starting from, like, I'm Goku in Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball, Super. Like, this is like the path we went to with Lightning. And it's so good, and almost nobody's going to know that because people didn't play the game. That's not true. Over 1 million people play the game, which is just a lot of people. But no, Lightning's story is very, very good. It's a very good path. It's like, oh, but so many people hate. No, stupid people hate Final Fantasy 13. People with a skill issue hate Final Fantasy 13. Oh, I can't mash the most powerful attack and get the biggest numbers. People will say like, oh, you just mash attack and a game auto plays. Thank you for confessing to all of us that you're an absolute idiot and you never actually beat the game. Because if you actually beat the game, you know that that's actually impossible. You can't autoplay because autoplay doesn't paradigm shift. And because you don't know what the paradigm shift system is, means you didn't play the game. And because you didn't play the game, you're a dumbass and your appraisal is irrelevant. I'm not saying you have a bad opinion. I'm saying you have a misinformed and therefore completely irrelevant opinion. So I'm putting you in your place for you to spout your really bad take, so that way you can go ahead and waste no one else's time because no one's listening to you. There you go. Very simple to handle people like that. Also, she became like, what, a Louis Vuitton model? Lightning, I think. What other Final Fantasy characters can do that? I think they did a whole bunch of stuff with Noctis and Luna Freya, I think. Live action merchandising and stuff. Congrats on 100K. Question, what are some of your personal favorite games you covered? Castlevania. Many of my favorite Castlevania games I've covered, obviously, by doing Castlevania. There's only a couple, which is the Lords of Shadow series, and I will do Legends just for shits and giggles. But I love the Castlevania games. I really do. When I run out of them, I'm not sure what else I'm going to do, but I need to get series off my plates anyway, so we'll see. Maybe Fire Emblem. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, Resident Evil, Castlevania, Final Fantasy VI. I'm very proud of the job I did for Final Fantasy 15. I'm very proud of that video. I talked about everything I want to talk about in less than an hour. I think I did a great job. Nier as well. Nier Automata, I mean. I didn't care for the first Nier. I don't care that you liked it. Combat was bad. Level design was bad. Dungeons had some interesting stuff. Replayability was bad. Grinding was bad. It's a boring game. I don't care if you like the music. You can listen to the music on YouTube. That's why the remaster slash redo, remake, re-better version, that's the definitive version. Play that version, don't play the OG version. And the fishing was awful. One of the worst fishing games I've ever played. Another good merit to 15. Damn good fishing. One of the best fishing minigames I've ever seen, ever. That's not an actual, like, fishing sim game. Bowie did an amazing job on Zero Time Dilemma. Thank you. I'm proud of the job I did that too. That was a challenge. That was a real challenge. Let me tell you what. That's probably the hardest one I had to do. Just how can I take this fourth dimensional timeline and construct it into a linear storytelling format? What am I doing with this? How am I going to construct this to where it makes sense? Oh man, that was tough. The blue blazing. I almost thought that was Blaze Blue. Congrats on the 100k, man. Here's the 100k more. Thank you. What is one game series you will never cover? I almost want to say Final Fantasy XI, but that's not true. One game series I will never cover. That's kind of a big list. Probably Elder Scrolls, because covering the main story of Elder Scrolls games is not why you play Elder Scrolls games. Most people may actually be informed for the first time what the main story actually even is, because they're too busy making their own adventure, which is fair. That's kind of the whole purpose of those sandbox games. I will never cover those. I will never cover Mass Effect. As much as I love Mass Effect, I love all the Mass Effect games. They're all good. Shut the hell up about, oh, but 3 only had a caged ending. Dude, here's another thing about modern game. The whole, oh, you could have 200 variation endings, but it's only actually 3 main variations. Okay, spoiler alert. They do that in like effing Baldur's Gate 3, but has anybody bitched about that? No. People celebrate it. It doesn't have thousands of endings and permutations. It has the same endings. There's 3. And the game just stops. The ending's garbage. But do people talk about that as much as they lambaste at 3? No. And another thing, with Mass Effect 3, I don't know where people get off on this thing where, oh, it doesn't have every culmination of every decision I ever made across all 3 games. They never said it was going to. And even if they did, none of the 3 games did that. All 3 of the games had just the same endings with slight variations. The very first game had the same ending. It just, maybe you saved the council ship, maybe you didn't. Maybe you kill this one guy, maybe he killed himself. They've all been the same way. Why did you think 3 was going to be different? I blame you. You set yourself up for weird-ass expectations, and you disappointed yourself. I'm pointing to you. Not you, the royal you, but still you. Do you like Andromeda? I liked Andromeda's combat. Andromeda wasn't a very good game. The story and the characters were so bad, the jank was really bad. The combat was really good, though. The combat in Andromeda was very good. So it was fun to play. It wasn't a good story, but it was fun to play. I don't know where the hell Mass Effect 4 is. I don't know where the hell BioWare is right now, man. How many... It feels like it's been 10 years they've been working on Dragon Age 4. But yeah, those sort of BioWare games like Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, I will never cover those because it isn't about any sort of official timeline. It is absolutely... Like, they only kind of make like the default decisions when they make a later game. But there's no way to tell how the main game ended, and because of that, I'm not going to go ahead and impose that. I've been able to be cheeky with some games like that, but I don't feel I can do that sufficiently with those type of games. It really is about your personal journey, and so I respect that. System Rush, big congrats on the 100k, thank you very much. Do you think you could do a recapitation on Mary Skelter? I'll add it to the queue, that's all I can promise you. Old BioWare is long gone. Most studios you think are good now have been long gone. Most studios dissolve their team that made that game after the project's done. And maybe whoever stuck around, maybe those remnants appear to make another game 5-6 years later. But just like you at your current careers, most people don't stick at one company for the rest of their life. They really don't. It's incredibly rare. The talent that you like across so many studios, especially older studios, they haven't been there for decades. They're like, you don't see the real faces behind that name and that label, so you maybe don't know. Perry Jackson, congrats on this milestone. Are there any games in 2024 that you look forward to recapping? Resident Evil 4 Remake. I gotta get around to that. That I look forward to remaking. Or to recapping. I don't know, actually. I kind of become more of a wait-and-see type of person these past few years. Looking forward to things, to me, just sets myself up for disappointment. I don't ride the hype train as much as I used to. It hasn't been worth it, because again, as I said along like an hour ago, where I am right now, the circles I want to be in, and where the circles are going, don't always overlap. You know, there's not a lot of overlap, so... It's hard to say. Rob Curro, I recognize that name. How's it going? Congrats on reaching 100k subs. Thank you very much. The only question I have is, will you do recaps on the Grandia series one day? Absolutely. Grandia is definitely a series that I have intentions of doing. I played only 2 of the Grandia games, but that is definitely a series that I wanted to redo. And I'm glad they have the HD versions out now that I can get nice clean versions that are the same exact stories, just sharper, but the original art style. I like that. Also, just easier to play because I have more quality of life features. So I can't promise when I'll get around to it, but yes, Grandia is absolutely on the roadmap. Ziggy asks 2 questions. You've really been out the videos recently? Sort of. That's sort of a cheat. Many of the videos that you saw me like post every week, it wasn't that I started and completed those within a week. Hell no, I don't have the time for that. But many of them were half done. Like I already got, the footage or the footage. Actually, how far am I down? Oh, I'm not that far. Okay, cool. We're almost good. Done. I've had the footage or the script done. Many cases both. I just never did the editing or the audio for it. So a lot of them were mostly done or half done, which is why I was able to quickly clean them up and put them out very quickly. Also, I want to get them out quickly because when you're dead, according to YouTube, for such a long time, getting back on your feet and it treats you like a dead channel and you're no longer people's recommended, even if you're subscribed to them, is hard. Also, I come back into a YouTube environment where engagement farming is the #1 thing. It really does matter more than ever now. It is the most important thing for a video to like or comment. Subscriptions are actually not that important, but it is very important to like and comment a video now. I cannot stress that enough. When you are liking or commenting a video, you are doing that video a massive favor. That is the #1 and 2 metric right now that YouTube looks at for promoting your videos, is liking and commenting. Doesn't matter if it's a positive or negative comment. So if you could please like and comment on other videos, that would be great. By that I mean my videos, but that would also be great. Along those lines, what's been the most difficult aspect of work-life balance for you? Having more work and less life. The imbalance is bad for me. And what's been the most exciting or surprising thing? I am constantly surprised. I'm surprised that I made 100K. I really didn't think that I would have this many people want to consistently watch my stuff. I still to this day have no effing idea what my audience likes. I just make the videos that I feel like making. I tell the stories I want to tell, and while I tell them as honestly as possible, like as close to the main thing, I'll still insert some snide comments or little jabs or references here, and I love it when people catch those. Nobody's ever caught all of them, or at least not publicly announcing that. But I do love it when people catch what I put in there. It's great. People pick up what I'm putting down. It's always exciting. No matter what level you are, stay excited, stay motivated. Being consistent is the thing that works the most at YouTube. What is your favorite hot take in general? Any topic dealer's choice? You should jump into my Discord. According to people there, that's all I do is hot takes. I think, though, many of my takes can be either on the scathing side, and I do realize that sometimes puts people off. I am fully aware that sometimes I'm taking something somebody cares a lot about and dashing it against the rocks of reality. But at the same time, sometimes you need somebody like that in your life. I don't mean to hurt people's feelings when I do that, but at the same time, I do hope that they're mature enough to come with me and communicate to me, hey, you came on a little strong, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, let's just talk it out, this, that, and the other. I assure you it's never personal. I don't know you. All right, unless you're somebody I actually do know in real life. I don't know you. So it's not personal, okay? Sonny, hey, how's it going, man? Love to see you. Bro, how does it feel to be top wizard in the Shadow Wizard Money Gang? Bro, I love casting spells. I love to see it. Ride Wild, hey, AK Guy Ogre, how's it going today, my guy? Congrats, Sony, for my question. I don't remember if you said you liked mecha or not. I do. Mostly Gundam, but I do like mecha. If you have mechs in your show, it's usually like you get at least 1+1 point. What are some mech anime you wish were in a Super Robot Wars game? Man, I haven't seen Super Robot Wars in a while. They haven't ported most of that since, the one in 2016? Like Z or whatever? I can't remember. There's the only thing I could think of. It doesn't have to be limited to just super robots or real robots. They, power armor work stuff. I don't know. Like, I'm still pretty much a Gundam fan, and so the more Gundam is there, the better. But the whole point of Super Robot Wars is to have crossover, including non-canon stuff. If I could just take any of the mechs then and put them in Super Robot Wars, I would probably take the Divine Beasts from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, put them in there, but they can actually combine into one big robot, something they never did in Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I wanted those 5 robots to combine into one giant robot. Was it that hard? Was it that much of an ask? It was right there, and they never did it. That's all I wanted. So please, Super Robot Wars, just do it. It's okay. Take the cool mechs and combine them. Give the people what they want. Nicholas or Nicolaus. When is the MK1 recap coming? When they finish all the DLC. That's the thing with MK, is that now they kind of take the story and they spread it out among the DLC. So you don't know if the base game is actually the full story. These days, it hasn't been true for the last 3 games. So we're just going to wait until all the story DLC, or basically with MK, whatever the next MK is. When that's announced and they're finally done with all the DLC and story, that's when I'll do the MK1 recap. Thank you for watching the MK recaps, though. I've enjoyed doing them. I've been watching your videos for a long time now, thank you. You have an amazing ASMR voice for insomnia. Oh, well. Clearly it's not helping you fix that insomnia, though. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you. Talking for so long, almost 2 hours, is straining. So basically a Megazord, basically. Except when Link rides his Zero cycle up, he needs to say, "And I'll form the head." Ras Feet, congrats on finally reaching 100k, thank you. I've been an active follower of your channel ever since you started streaming Ghost of Tsushima way back when. Wow, that's a callback. I'm glad you stuck around, because I was not positive on Ghost of Tsushima. I crapped all over that game because it kept having so many issues, and I remember people getting so pissed at me making fun of Ghost of Tsushima. What can I do? The game's bugging out in front of me. How is that my fault? And the AI's stupid. How is that my fault? How is it my fault? The AI is so dumb. I'm only going to give you the realest take, like live and right there. But I'm glad you stuck around. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you were able to just roll with it. Or maybe you agreed, I don't know. I'm incredibly glad more people are getting to know your channel. Me too. The best thing you can do for this channel is recommend it, because YouTube isn't doing the best job of recommending it. So if you recommend it, it goes a long way. Thank you very much. Sugar Zoe asks, what color is your toothbrush? I have an electric toothbrush. It is a Braun, and it is white with a black grip. I had to think about it for a second. EMWBJR asks, like the others mentioned, congrats on 100k. Thank you very much. I went through your digital hindsight playlist, so hopefully I don't make any repeats. I do have a couple things. Thank you for watching those old ones. It's okay to ask a repeat question, because you never know, my position may have changed, or I may have changed my minds on some of those things. It's okay. What made you decide to do a recap of a few MMOs? Capitulation. I've stayed away from MMOs for such a long time, honestly. They haven't been the best, healthiest impact on my life. I have very poor discipline when it comes to that. Would you do a recap of Destiny as a longtime player? Maybe the most recent big ones. See, I don't want to recap Destiny, even though the long 10-year journey, for those of you who aren't aware, is about to end next year with the final expansion called The Final Shape. That's the end of the 10-year journey. Everybody memed on Destiny. You couldn't do a game for 10 years. They did a game for 10 years. It's about to basically end in the 10 years. And I think they should just clean up and stop after that. Here's my personal Destiny 2 take. Finish it. Finish it. Do the 1-year episode thing just as like an epilogue. And that's it. Cut it off. Don't do anything else. Work on your other projects, Bungie. Even if you get absorbed by Sony, whatever. Just finish Destiny 2 and that's it. Keep the game up just like you do D1, just don't update it, that's it for Destiny 2. And then maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you have a brand new engine, you start over from scratch with new ideas, new takes, new plot line, new whatever twist you're going to end with, the Vex doing weird time, whatever shenanigans. Destiny 3, years from now. Just finish Destiny 2. You're right there at the finish line, just finish it. Just finish it and move on. End it when you still have some decency. But no, I'm not going to do the Destiny story thing because A, they flag the cutscenes that are not from the official channel, so they don't play nice. Thanks, Sony. Appreciate you. They're already nasty about the music, Sony music is, but now they're doing the cutscenes. The other thing is, most people don't play MMOs for the story. They really don't. Even Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV is among my worst performing videos. People don't play that game for the story as much as they say they do. Or at the very least, they don't check mine out. They are helpful for people that need to do a catch-up, and I am going to continue doing it. But I do want to point out that I do not believe people when they say they play MMOs for the story. I don't believe you. You play it for your own reasons, and that's okay. That's why it's there. Was the most difficult game you've played through for a current or upcoming recap? I think we've kind of agreed that Zero Time Dilemma is probably the most difficult game. Not just the game, it's difficult in terms of how to make that recap. It was a difficult game to recap. I avoided it because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to pull it off, and I'm really glad I did. So, there's that. Kid, I'll form the head. First words ever uttered by Link. Excuse you, princess. That is not the first words made by Link. People always like, man, we should have a Legend of Zelda like animated series. Like, you don't know what you ask for. We've already done this. You may have forgotten or be too young, but we've gone down this road before. You know not what you asked. Stop this. I'm always curious who is the longest subscribed person on my channel. YouTube, for all the stats and metrics it gives, it knows. Because if you ever hit Ruby status, which is like 50 million, they actually will give a commemoration to like the first few people that are still subbed to your channel. Like the oldest subs, they'll have like a little mini award. So YouTube knows. I don't know. I'm genuinely curious who's the longest standing sub. I'm really curious. Let's see. What is the most difficult game you've played? Kind of curious for both. It can be difficulty based on personal skill set and challenging gameplay, like the infamous difficulty of a Soulsborne game. Soulsborne games are not hard. Well, they are not challenging, they are punishing. There's a difference. What the game is asking you to do, which is wait for the precise window with which the enemy has an opportunity to strike and strike them with, that's not a big ask. What it is punishing you is being impatient, for being imprecise, for being too slow, or too fast, or too greedy, or too weak. It is punishing you for your poor execution. It is punishing you for your poor timing. You will refine that, and the moment you figure out the precise pattern with which you need to predict and execute, that is when the game becomes absolutely significantly less hard. But people are impatient for that, and so when it punishes the modern day game set of just throw mud against the wall and throw yourself against the enemy because you're just going to keep having regenerating health or checkpoints or things like that. It punishes that impatient gameplay. And it does it in a way that's been around since, the 90s and 80s, where that's how games used to be. You used to only have one hit, and if you fucked up that hit, you died. If the boss hit you, you ran out of a life. If you ran out of enough lives, you restarted the entire game. So it punished you for being impatient. It was designed to eat your quarters in a very arcade sense, absolutely. But that design philosophy has only just been modernized. What it's asking you to do, to jump on that person's head, is not hard. What's challenging is you having the discipline to observe the pattern of when it is the right time to jump on that person's head. That's what it's asking you to do. That's why you have people go around naked with a spoon, no-hitting Dark Souls games. Are they gods among men? No, there are people that know these patterns so well they could do it in their sleep. That's why you have people being Dark Souls blindfolded. It's not the challenge of the game. It's people's impatience. And the sloppy way that they play, the sloppy way that they play is what's being punished. That's why they think it's hard. It's actually a skill issue. Also, pro tip, no matter how much you have a friend that claims they're badass at Souls games, 90% of Souls enemies can be defeated by rolling to the left. Most people roll to the right, and the game knows this. Roll to the left, you will significantly neutralize most Souls bosses. It's so funny. Brad Fab, I've been seeing you a lot recently. I love your videos, and I think you put too much quality in your videos. Thank you. it makes it very difficult for people to replace me. I think I've touched on this before, but people think, oh, how hard can it be? You just recap the game, you put a voiceover on it, you put some background footage. How hard can it be? It's very time consuming, and it makes you feel like it's a waste of your life and time. And you don't feel the full appreciation. It doesn't make a lot of money because it's not entertaining, it's not quick to consume, and it doesn't have a whole bunch of editing that I care about maintaining your attention. I put the story out there. It's up to you to watch it. If you do, great. If you don't, not my problem. And because that's not the most popular mainstream way of producing this information, is why people go back to doing, hey, let's just make memes out of these short recap videos. Here's something in a nutshell. Here's something in 3 minutes. Here's an exaggerated long version. Or they go the opposite way, which is make a video longer than 1 hour. Because I think if you make a video longer than 1 hour, 2 hours, your ECPM, which is how much you're paid per dollar on the video, actually increases. So there's an incentive on people to make those 4 to 6 hour essays, which is mostly bloat and filler. They do it just so they can constantly increase the amount of time that video is so they can make more money off of it. It's okay. That's a legitimate strategy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just how do you want to consume your media? Congrats on the huge milestone. Another Brad. Interesting. Always love watching your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Appreciate you. Getting close to the end here. Then we'll read what Chad has to say. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3 yet? Yes. In fact, I have beaten it. Which, by the way, Larian Studios put out statistics recently that only 7% of people have beaten Baldur's Gate 3. So all these people talking all this amazing stuff about Baldur's Gate 3. Look, it's a fun game. It's a D&D game first and foremost, so a lot of people aren't going to play it because they don't like the D&D format. It's a watered-down version of 5th edition, which is, and it does it in such a way that it doesn't fix the problems 5th edition have, because 5th edition is already, in my opinion, the worst version of Dungeons & Dragons we've had yet. It is the most restricted, flat, boring version. That's, again, another issue of IPs being casualized, is Dungeons & Dragons. It's so insufferable, the state of the game, but because it has this mass appeal of people that are only going to come in, play for a little bit, and move on to the next thing, and the rest of us are here like, why did you just shit on this plate? And then people are like, well, you don't have to eat that shit. You're right, I don't, but it's still on my plate. It still ruins the experience of what I do want on my plate. And yeah, so Baldur's Gate 3 is only a reminder of those poor systems being popularized. And I don't like most of the cast. Hot take. I don't like when I read the backgrounds of most of these characters, and they remind me of actually playing Dungeons and Dragons, which is a good and a bad thing. Because you have so many characters who come in, and they're like, I have this incredibly pretentious, well thought out, epic backstory as a level 1 character. And I know you're going to say, oh, but they were epic characters. They just got the little mind leech in it produced in a level 1. Wow, what an amazing plot device. We should use these amazing leeches and use the level damage and just beat everyone in the game. Oh no, it's only used for plot device purposes. Okay, sure. I hate the pretentiousness that's in it. They also bastardized Faerun, aka Forgotten Realms, which is my favorite setting, and you fucked it up. I hate it. It's like what modern day Fallout did to classic Fallout lore. Just shit all over it, throw a rug over it, moves ahead, and everybody only knows the new stuff, so they don't care about the old stuff, so you sound like the old man yelling at a cloud. Which I basically am. But yeah, no, BG3 is a good game, but it's made for a very casual crowd, and I can't love it because it has fun parts, but I've played better. Larian just did a total mod conversion for Divinity Original Sin 2. That's what Baldur's Gate 3 is. They just did it with D&D, and I didn't like that they used that version of D&D. They did a better job in Divinity Original Sin 2. So it's a watered down version of a game that uses a watered down system of another watered down version of another game, and it's still whatever. And all the people that are loving it, I guarantee you they have only played Act 1 and part of Act 2. They did not get to Act 3, and even if they had and they get past all the pandering, you're gonna look me dead in the eye, look at that goddamn excuse for an ending, and tell me that was a masterpiece? Fuck off. You told me everything I need to know about your quality appraisals. Jesus Christ. I do recommend playing the game, though, despite all that. There is still a lot of fun to have. And because it appeals to a mass popular appeal version of a game, it is still a good soft intro for what it does. I don't like a lot of it, but my opinion doesn't matter for what you like about Baldur's Gate 3. Ethan, this is not an attack against you. If you love Baldur's Gate 3, great, more power to you. I'm on my second playthrough right now, actually, because a lot of the stuff that got patched, because they spent 3 years polishing Act 1 and spent 1 year doing Act 2 and Act 3. Act 3 is very buggy, or was very buggy last time I played. They had a whole bunch of patches. It's a lot more stable now, a lot less jank. It still has jank, but there's less jank. And I'm jumping in now to see if it's better. So we'll see. What is your favorite class to play in D&D? I typically play... So my favorite class overall was Dungeons & Dragons 3rd Edition. It was the Archivist. It's kind of what I do right now, actually. But basically what the Archivist was basically a divine wizard. Basically, it was the wizard spellcasting ability to prepare spells, casting limitations, bonuses, things like that. But it was all divine. So you had the best of both worlds between cleric and wizard. They've done stuff like that before where, oh, I'm going to be a thaumaturge and borrow spells from one class. No, this literally was the best of both worlds. It was fantastic. It was my favorite class to play. Because I liked wizards prior. I also like rogues. But in 4th edition, easy. Sorry to be a meta slave, but bards and paladins were just too OP in 4th edition. And in 5th edition, they're still OP. Bards and paladins just beat everything else in the game. Maybe you can do warlock, but warlocks are super boring. But you got bards and you got paladins, and you beat everything in Dungeons & Dragons 4th and 5th edition. Again, because there's so few customization and the power balancing is so bad. Like, once you get past level 6, you're basically gods among men. It's so goddamn boring. So hopefully that was a brief look at my thoughts on it. I feel passionate about it. If you want to hear more about that, please jump into the Discord. The link might be in the description below. I don't know. I don't know what's working. Ethan, great question, by the way. Thank you. I actually enjoy the rant. I have fun. Gene Glenn asks, what has been one game you were surprised at how much fun you had playing through it, and what game are you looking forward to playing through? I think RoboCop takes that award. Like I said, I actually had the most amount of fun playing it 2023 award. I was surprised. I did not see that coming. That game did not have any business being anywhere near as good as it was. Fantastic. Bravo, Nacon. Excellent work. What game are you looking forward to playing through? Okay, so if we are looking at what I'm looking forward to the most in 2024, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I loved Remake. Love it. Dragon's Dogma 2, because I love Dragon's Dogma. Oh, so good. And it looks like they're doing things right. It looks like they're literally taking the Monster Hunter engine. Literally, because I recognize some of these rocks and trees. I'm like, that's from Monster Hunter World. They're using the same engine. And they're just putting Dragon's Dogma in it, which is basically just more pseudo Monster Hunter. Oh, I love it. So good. Can't wait. And it all comes out in the spring, too. Later in the year, we'll get there. But there's plenty of stuff so far in spring. I would love for them to make some new Resident Evil announcements. That's what I would love for them to do, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, we're getting into recent stuff, because people posted stuff just this past day. Congrats on 100k, thank you, Lord. Dari Gaze. Question, has there ever been a recapitation of yours that's received negative attention from its associated fandom? No, actually. So, call me lucky, but pretty much all of my recaps are very positively received. Even though the games that are not very popular are very controversial, the people that actually stick around and watch them are overwhelmingly positive. Almost every single one of my recaps is over 90% positive. And that's mostly because whether you like the game or not, I did a good job presenting the information. I know I did a good job. I'm proud of the job that I did. I do the best job I can possibly do at the time with what I have. I make it a point. I take quality and pride in my work. And I think people recognize that. Despite how small, my operation is. It's just me. It's just me. These days I have more people helping me. So shout out to the people, you know who you are, who have been helping me sometimes with either footage or the editing. So thank you very much. But it's still pretty much I'm doing all the heavy lifting for the most part on pretty much every video. So, however, the people that give me negative attention was when I did reviews. I tried doing reviews. I did like 4, 5, or 6 reviews. Those got so much negative attention. Or when I stream, the amount of people that come in a live stream and try to drive by shit on you, first of all, it's hilarious. Because I don't know if you noticed or not, but I absolutely don't give a flying fuck about what most people in the comment section are going to say to my face. Because you're not in front of me. Also, I worked retail middle management for many years of my life. You honestly think there's anything words on a screen are going to do to me versus actual people that are in your face threatening violence on you, actually committing violence on you? My guy, sorry, I've existed in the real world. Your little words on a screen don't hurt my feelings. I don't care. If the worst thing that happens to me is some person I don't know and I'll never meet says mean words about me on the internet, that's a pretty good day. I don't care. You have no value, because in order for me to care about what you have to say, I have to care about you. And anonymous troll, I don't care about you, so your opinion doesn't mean anything to me. It's really simple. You have to do better with your trolling. That's what actually irritates me, is I see some trolls, and their trolls are so goddamn weak. I'm like, stop. Your troll game is bad. Here's some constructive criticism. Troll better. All right, come at me and troll better. You have to try a little bit harder than me. You're going for low-hanging fruit. It's disappointing. You need a better troll game than that. You really need to try harder. I'm disappointed. You should be disappointing yourself. Troll better. If you're going to do something, do it properly. Man, people, not even trolls take pride in their work anymore. Kids these days. Unknown Depth with congratulations, my dude. Thank you. Do you like cheesecake? Unknown Depth. Cheesecake is the #1 dessert on my menu. I love cheesecake. Cheesecake is part of the reason why I'm still overweight. I'm not morbidly obese. I'm not like Boogie or Wings of Redemption or like Tipster or other incredibly morbidly obese people. You know, thank God. I'm pretty good, all things considered. I'm constantly improving. I'm actually thinner than I used to be. And I just take slow steps. That way I can have consistent behavior and therefore have consistent, predictable results. I don't believe in crashes. But cheesecake is one of the things I've had to minimize because I love cheesecake. It is my #1 favorite dessert, and it is so calorie dense. But it's so damn delicious. What is your favorite TV series? I don't even watch TV. I watch the internet. I watch most of like the seasonal anime stuff, some stuff on Netflix. What is your favorite game? I don't have a favorite game, but I do have favorite games from different franchises. And I explained a few of those before. I revealed a couple of them. I do have favorite games in franchises. So I love how one of the options for the YouTube AI is everything. Do you like cheesecake? Good one. What is your favorite TV series? None. That's kind of true. What is your favorite game? Everything. Jesus Christ. That's so goddamn cringe. This is why you can't trust AI. When YouTube says they're limiting AI, it's like, this is an AI response right here, and I'm not going to use it. It's dumb. Oh, that's it. We're done. Did anybody say anything really mean? Nope. Nobody hit the autofilter. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let's rewind a little bit. I'm going to go to Alessandro, his question, because he put up some hard-earned money. What are some video game IPs, alive or dead, you think have been the most wasted or mismanaged? Anything that's recently been approached for ESG farming. If you're on my Discord, you know how much I hate how much companies are going to BlackRock and Sweet Baby Inc. to try to collect on that sweet ESG money. That casualization and then the corporate-inspired forced behaviors to correct society through the mass media we consume. First off, from their perspective, bravo, that's a great way to control us masses, is just, hey, we can control what they eat, and AK put in their head. Smart move. On the receiving end of that, fuck you, you are ruining so many IPs. Through Hasbro, they ruined Dungeons & Dragons. It is such casual slop now. Is there fun to be had? Yeah, there's fun to be had in all sorts of co-op games. The spirit of having fun with your friends is great, and you can find that in other places. But 5th edition is only gotten worse. And D&D 1 that they're working on is looking even worse. This game is so unrecognizably bad. Just do your own homebrew stuff, is all I can say. Do your own homebrew stuff. Use it as a foundation. The core game is bad. Don't buy any of the original books. They're garbage waste of paper anyway. Do your homebrew stuff. Or the side stuff. Assassin's Creed got killed recently. Spider-Man's dead. God of War's dead. Alan Wake, I don't know because I heard Alan Wake 2 has been compromised, but I haven't played it and I really liked Alan Wake 1. We'll see. Let's see. Far Cry is compromised. Let's see. Dead Space got more or less compromised. They did an okay job, but it was very clear they were pandering. Like the whole concept of the enter the Pandaverse thing, if you understand the reference, that has absolutely afflicted video games in a very negative way. You're appealing to a group of people that aren't going to buy the product anyway, and you are turning and alienating the core audience that does buy the stuff, and you're making them go somewhere else just because you're taking the things that they love and you're ruining it. Just like what Disney did to MCU, Marvel stuff, and Star Wars, you're doing the same thing to video games. It sucks. And the stuff that is good now could have been better if it wasn't written with that checklist agenda to begin with. That shit pisses me off. We're just like at the receiving end of it. We're at their mercy. It sucks. I'm not going to go through all the stuff on chat. I apologize for not reading through the chat as we were going through, but now if you're still here, post some questions that maybe I didn't get to before, and I'll see if I can just rapid fire them. We'll do this for about 10 minutes because I need to get off and do something else, but hey, this is 2 hours. 2 hours we've been doing this, and we're okay. Thank you, OBS. I'm not sponsored, but OBS did everything that Streamlabs OBS didn't. Glowing promotion. Thank you. Thank you. Clap, 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 clap. And if I shouted into the mic, I apologize. I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry because I feel very passionate about this. And I hope you feel that. I care. I care in maybe different ways than you care, but I feel that we can compare the ways that we care and maybe find some common ground. Or not. Maybe we agree to disagree. The overwhelming majority of the people that watch my content do not come here for me or my opinions. If you do, not shameless plug, go to my Discord. I am there every day, pretty much, at some point of the day. I don't live on there, but I have it open on my phone always, and I'm constantly looking at it. And feel free to jump in, because I'm there all the time, pretty much. You can absolutely talk about whatever you want. You can ask me questions throughout the day. The people that are coming here from my Discord, thank you, but they already know a lot of stuff shouldn't surprise them. I'm pretty consistent. I am just me. This is me, Nick. Oni is just the name of the channel. Oni is my handle. I've had that handle, ironically, from Dungeons & Dragons. The origin of Oni Black Mage comes from Dungeons & Dragons. I think I told that story in a previous Q&A. Well, what character class is Clive Wise at Blue Mage? I'm not taking that bait. I like your profile pic, though. Looks like you have a shit-eating grin, though, which is probably what you have. Alan Wake 2 was awesome. Is it redacted? I'll find out. I haven't played it yet. I have expectations, though, because Alan Wake 1 was excellent. Control was fantastic. Control is such a good game that I really hope that Remedy kept it together for Alan Wake 2, but we'll see. Kaze gifting 1 membership that went to Omnixor. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Trolls are welcome. I know, Alessandro. We don't get very good quality trolls these days. Like, if you're a troll, if I said anything that pissed you off, either intentionally or unintentionally, hopefully you can't tell the difference that much, please come into my Discord and try to make the biggest stink you can. It would make so many of our days. It really would. It would help so many of us. Any plans to bring back streams? Kind of miss them. Do you mean like this? Did you guys actually enjoy this? If you enjoy this, please like, comment, and subscribe. But no, I actually would like some feedback. I don't like to stream as much because, quite frankly, my work-life balance is bad enough. And I don't know if I want... I'm an introvert at heart. As animated as I can be right now, even the fact that I'm in front of a camera right now is exhausting to me. I don't like to put up as much energy. I'm just like, whatever. I don't dress up. I don't have amazing effects. I don't doll myself up with any makeup. And I'm already hoarse from talking. It's just so long. Ugh. Long bouts of talking dries out my throat. But yeah. I tell myself when the workload lessens, but the workload never lessens. The better job you do at work, the more work they give you, and there's always another video to make. More people come here for the recap, so I'm giving them more of what they want. I also don't stream what I used to think about, hey, what if I just stream while I'm recording a game, but then I'm too distracted by chat. And so I make slower and worse progress on the game, so things are slower to come out because I'm too distracted because, I don't know. I work faster at my own time, playing games in whatever weird hours I can insert instead of setting up things or having abominations happen like what just happened earlier today with Streamlabs. It's just... I don't know if I'm built for it. I really don't know if I'm built for it. That's why it's a rare treat. That's why even coming on camera right now is a rare treat for you guys, hopefully. Lynn. Hey, Lynn! Lynn, hello! Missed you! Lynn, by the way, is the only person that I would ever trust. The only lady that's smart enough, wise enough, and has the tough chops enough to handle anyone and be a mod in this. She will slap any of you down so quick. She is what I call my stream sniper. The right one. Hello, Lynn. Long time no see. I'm actually on the cam now. How's it going? You've been hiding? You're always in the shadows, just waiting to strike. I've always respected that, though. Borderlands 3 stream. You know, as much as I play Borderlands, I do want to play the Tiny Tina's D&D one, the Wonderlands one. I still want to play that because it has the spirit of D&D. The spirit of D&D is the adventure. Dungeons and Dragons needs to have dungeons and some dragons. But these days, most people just want to fight the dragons. And the dungeons are so weak. That's one of the reasons why my favorite game that surprised me the most to play would also be Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is not only a great action RPG, that world is so well done, so fun to be in, so enthralling in terms of its aesthetics, its lore friendliness, that even if you don't play Harry Potter games at all or don't know anything about the lore, you can still enjoy it because it's a good action RPG that's mostly magic based. And this is my favorite part. It has good dungeons. It has the best dungeon design out of any RPG this year. It has such good dungeon designs that when I played Final Fantasy 16, I was like, what is this garbage Final Fantasy 14 glorified battle hallway garbage? If you play 14, you know that most dungeons are just basically glorified hallways. You just go in a straight line. It is, in many cases, the older dungeons, literally a hallway. And then it opens up to a fight arena with maybe a gimmick or two, and then you move down. It's just a hallway. It's just a hallway. It's not a dungeon. It's a hallway that you're calling a dungeon. Hogwarts Legacy had real dungeons, and 16 took hallway dungeons. In this case, they didn't even try to fluff it out with cool gimmicks. They were literally hallways. I was like, what is this embarrassingly awful dungeon design? I hated that dungeon design. The combat of 16 is fun, but when that's the only thing you can speak to in an RPG, that's weak. That's really weak. So, if you want solid action RPG and dungeon crawling, Hogwarts Legacy. Fantastic. It was so good. So damn good. But yeah, actually, maybe in the new year when I can, work holiday load is a little bit less, and I would like to do the another Borderlands. Maybe I'll stream it. I could make an exception. I know I said earlier I'm not going to stream, but I'm streaming now, so we'll see how long that lasts. If this is a special occasion, but it could just be something private, or maybe we'll just do it on Discord and that's it. We'll just keep it private and fun. But yeah, definitely. Monster Hunter when it comes. Oh, that's right, the new Monster Hunter. How could I forget? Super excited for the new Monster Hunter. Absolutely hyped for that. Loved World. I loved Rise. I loved the mobility that was focused on. I loved what they did with Hunting Horn. Hunting Horn became my new favorite weapon in Rise. It's so fun, so good. And I look forward to seeing what they do in the new one. Monster Hunter Rise Up. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. Precap streams probably dead. I'd rather just work on my I work better on my own. But group streams just for fun? Yeah, maybe. Kasparov, congrats again. Hey, yeah, thank you for the comment. I appreciate. Thank you for the question. Thank you for adding value to this stream. Again, I wouldn't have a Q&A stream without you guys asking questions for me to answer, so thank you. But yeah, Lynn, missed you. Hopefully we can maybe play Borderlands again. Tiny Tina, maybe you can flex on your amazing stacked character again on all of us. But yeah, we'll play Borderlands. I'm going to commit to that. We will play Borderlands in the new year. We will play Borderlands in the new year. What's the next recap? Let me ask you a question. Patrick Perez. The next recap, first of all, is next year. The next recap, I want to say it's because I have a few pots already on the already burning, not burning, but they're on the burner, and I don't have anything loaded yet. I already went through all the stuff that's already preloaded. It's either going to be Shadow Hearts 2, Tales of Destiny, or Castlevania Lords of Shadow, or Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood. We will see what finishes first. Probably one of the first three, because the 14 ones take so long to edit. They're just so long. I don't like how much work is involved and how little return it feels like. But that's just me. That's a personal problem. But yeah, hopefully, thank you everyone that showed up. I think we had like peak 35 people, which is like, for me, that's a big deal. I'm excited. I'm excited that many people came out to just watch me. It's really flattering. It's going to my head. Because again, most people don't watch this channel for Nick. They watch it for Oni Blackmage to read them in a game just to save them time and money in the future, which I'm glad to help, but at the same time, sometimes it's nice to be appreciated every now and then, you know? So, thank you very much. I'm almost out of tea now, so that'll be that. Also, yes, you will sometimes get sponsored. Like, those are the ones that interrupt when I get a sponsored video. Because you'll only have X many days to produce content for it. Otherwise, you obviously get a flag. And people are like, this guy's unreliable. So I want to make a good impression and get them free game codes, man. And yeah, so look forward to those. Also, if you click on the link that's under those sponsored videos, it helps me out, just gets attention. You don't have to buy anything, just click it, and it counts as a metric. Helps me out a little bit. Doesn't cost you anything, so if you watch it, click the links. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Love a Stranger of Paradise video. Stranger of Paradise, great game. Slept on. Not a hot take, because this is just factual. Some people are slow to this. Stranger of Paradise is a better action Final Fantasy game that has better Final Fantasy iconography than Final Fantasy XVI. It has a better customization, way better dungeons, better music. Yeah, take that. Sorry, but I don't care how much you like Soken's work. So much of Soken's work sounds like effing sane. And people only like 4 tracks from that game. There are so many good tracks and so many good composers, even in the games that Soken's known for. But in Stranger of Paradise, the music just blasts so well with such good remixes. Great level design. Jack Garland is probably one of my favorite. Like, if it wasn't for Min Woo, I would probably say Jack Garland is my favorite male Final Fantasy character. He's so based. I love it. And great game. It's co-op too, so you can have fun with friends. 16, where was that? Better level design. Like I said, better Final Fantasy iconography. They actually respected the Final Fantasy worlds and lore way more. Much more interesting plot. That's way less pretentious and based on pseudo-medieval history. That you literally have an NPC whose sole job it is to be a text-to-speech Wikipedia on world lore. That's how boring it is. And yeah, like Stranger of Paradise, good game. It's Ninja Theory. It plays a lot like Nioh, I understand, but if you don't like that, you can crank it up and really punish yourself if you want to be a badass. You can crank it down to super easy and have a power fantasy where you're like Jack Garland, lore accurate, ripping through hordes. It's so fun. It's so unadulterated fun. And even the cheesy ass lines, you just gotta appreciate it. Jack Garland is so much better than Clive. It's not even funny. What class do you play in Final Fantasy XIV? Patrick, I will give you one guess. And it is the obvious guess. And if you watch any of the 14 ones, it limits it. You can kind of tell which subclass I'm playing. based on the armor that I'm wearing. Also, if you want more long-winded rants that are kind of spicy and absolutely do not value your feelings in terms of reception, then check out any of the deep cut series on. I used to do deep cuts. I don't do deep cuts anymore. But if you are a member, channel member, or you are a patron, then there's a special playlist you have access to called the deep cuts. And for like 90 some odd videos, recaps, I gave you my actual opinion on the game. Kind of like how I did now, where I will talk about the things that I loved, and I will talk about the things that I didn't like, and I'll talk about the things that needed work. I like to feel that. Oh, and I'll tell you one thing. Any game is good if it does one of three things. It just has to do one of three things. It has to be fun, fascinating, in which case it's interesting or people could talk about it, something we're talking about, not you play it and you forget it. And it has to be fulfilling. It has to do something that scratches an itch or fills a niche or does what it sought to do, to deliver, to either maybe develop a character story or maybe tell a tragic tale. How effective did it do it? If you do one of those three things, because there are games that are not very fun, but they're very fulfilling. Like, I like to think Animal Crossing is one of those. It's not fun doing chores. I don't like chore simulators. But goddamn, they make a gameplay loop out of it that's so goddamn addicting. Unlike most RPG filler garbage, where it's like, hey, collect 100 rat pelts. It's like, this isn't fun. This is filler and it's garbage. That's not fun. And it's not fulfilling. And it's not fascinating. But if you are fun or fulfilling and or fascinating, you are a good game. Now, the quality appraisal, we need to define those. And if you want something better on that, watch the streams on my side channel, OBM Plays, and you'll see where I talk about different franchises once I finish them. I might do one for Castlevania. We're getting close to finishing the Castlevania series. That's a lot of games. That's like 20 games. We might do a really long stream appraising each Castlevania and actually comparing them apples to apples and really seeing which one matches up on a tier scale. Ooh, I can't wait to just... people get so salty on Castlevanias. I can't wait. Patrick, you said Black Mage? Absolutely. I play a Black Mage in Final Fantasy XIV. I don't care about your buffs. I'm selfish DPS. I'm just here to throw some fire, throw a little bit of ice, move on. Get this story done. So yeah, I'm a Black Mage. Surprise, surprise. Portable boredom. Biggest tragedy about Stranger Paradise is all anyone will remember is herder chaos. Yeah, it's... The memes are good. The memes are funny. The memes are there. But it's unfortunate that people will absolutely sleep on it. But you know. Now you know. You. And not just Royal you. 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 And the guy behind you. But, thank you. PJXMR, thank you. Enjoy the series recap streams. Me too. I'm going to keep doing those. I'm going to salt mine. I'm going to salt mine those. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. If I did miss out your question in live chat, I intended this to be more engagement with live chat. It's the whole reason I fixated on doing this. But I think maybe seeing the live reaction, or at least seeing my face do the live reaction, and not just, oh, soy face, put that garbage on a thumbnail. Hopefully you appreciated it. This was quick and dirty, but I think sometimes it's a lot more simpler and easier that way. I had fun doing this. Talked for 2.5 hours with just what was provided. If you want more, or you really do want your question answered for me, genuinely, again, go to the Discord. I have a Discord. The link is in the description. Please go there. Ask whatever you want. If you catch me in the voice chat, it's fine. If you want to talk to me, just at me. It's okay. Don't at me directly, though. Too many people adding me about irrelevant stuff kind of annoys me, because sometimes I get pinged either like when I'm sleeping or in the middle of the day, or I'm working on something that I don't want to be disturbed, and it's kind of bothersome. But just post it. You don't have to ping me. I will read it. I'm actually on my Discord. I hear a lot of content creators aren't on their own Discords. I am on my Discord, and it's me. I wish I could set up an AI bot, but it's not me. I talk like a bot. That is what it is. So yeah. But yeah, thank you. Hopefully I added a little bit more value to you guys. Hopefully you guys got a chance to see a little bit more of what Nick is like, the Nick side of things. Maybe some of you are glad that I shattered your whatever mental image you had of me, that I absolutely broke it and dashed it, and now you have like, great, I can't unsee what I saw. Perfect. Glad I added value. Glad I corrected you with that reality check. Play RoboCop Rogue City, play 13 Sentinels, play Stranger of Paradise. Please look forward to the next video. Please like and comment on the videos. It really, really helps. I cannot stress that enough. Please join the Discord. Thank you for your support. Have a good night, and I'll see you on the next Battlefield. Thanks for watching. We're actually just going to cut this off because I don't have an outro on this. Is that quick and dirty? So 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.